I'm going to page for Mr. Shrikant Gunjal to kindly meet me at stage, please. Mr. Shrikant Gunjal, if you can hear me. Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will go ahead and begin this.
Yeah. I want to talk about Padmini.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me an esteemed honor to introduce our next speaker for the session on alternative fuels, hydrogen-powered vessels. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Miss Padmini Mella-Chervu, a former scientist at Indian Space Research Organization.
Hello.
She is presently a technology specialist in cryogenic and compressed gas fuels at Lloyd's Register, UK. With over 8 years of experience in design, testing, maintenance, and operations of cryogenic fuels and associated systems, Ms. Mela Chervu brings invaluable expertise to the forefront of decarbonization efforts in the maritime industry. Before I bring her and her presentation, I'll have Captain Shaukat Mukherjee to say a few words.
Okay, so first of all, Padmini, if you're hearing this, and we are going live now, and thank you so much for gracing the occasion and as a special request. And you've been, your video and your news report of your being the hydrogen lady of maritime has gone really viral, and we are very proud to be hosting you at the FSM. And I would like to also thank Captain Mahendra Basin, without whose help we couldn't have got Padmini, reached out to Padmini, and he was instrumental. He was there at the office in UK, and he has helped a lot in getting Padmini across at FSM. So a big round of applause for Captain Basin. And thank you. And we now have the actual hydrogen lady of maritime talking about alternate fuels and hydrogen powered vessels. Padmini.
Hello. Greetings, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of Future Skills Maritime for giving me this opportunity. Unfortunately, I couldn't be present there in person for the conference, but I'm glad that I'm getting this chance to interact with you all through this virtual format. Today, I'd like to give a brief introduction about hydrogen systems for marine applications. I'd like to start with why we should think about hydrogen and why the current demand for hydrogen as marine fuel. Shipping industry is under increasing pressure to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and carbon dioxide emissions. Overall, shipping contributes to around 3% of greenhouse gases worldwide. So IMO has set an ambitious goal of reducing these greenhouse gas emissions by at least 50% by 2050 compared to 2008 levels. So to meet these ambitious goals, there is a need to shift away from conventional fuels such as marine gas oil, heavy fuel, etc., and think about alternative fuels. There are several alternative fuels that could reduce greenhouse gas emissions as well as carbon footprint of international shipping. But each of these alternative fuels, such as ammonia, biofuels, etc., batteries, all of them have their own unique challenges. For suppose, ammonia is highly toxic, so the toxicity is posing a huge challenge in using ammonia as fuel for passenger ships. Biofuels are a very good alternative fuel. However, the sustainable availability of biofuels to scale up to the level that international shipping needs is a challenge. So if biofuel is available at large scale, it will be a very good solution. But at the moment, there is not much biofuel available that could meet the large scale demand of shipping. Batteries are good for short distance shipping, but for long distance shipping, they become very heavy as well as occupy a lot of space, which is the reason why it's not a viable source for long distance shipping. Similarly, LNG and methanol, they are not completely zero carbon. So there may be a very good short-term solution, but they are not a long-term solution to completely reduce the greenhouse gas emissions or carbon dioxide emissions. So out of all these alternative fuels, hydrogen is a potential zero emission fuel capable of meeting shipping industry's energy needs. So as I mentioned, while there are multiple other solutions, hydrogen and e-fuels made with hydrogen are the only solutions that are both sustainable as well as scalable for industry needs in marine. There are several ways in which hydrogen can be produced, and the sustainability and the way emissions depends on how hydrogen has been produced. One of the major sources of hydrogen currently is called gray hydrogen. So gray hydrogen is basically hydrogen produced from steam reforming of hydrocarbons using non-renewable resources. So this constitutes about 70% of the hydrogen available in the market today. And this is not a renewable or sustainable way of producing hydrogen. There's another hydrogen type called blue hydrogen. So during the steam reforming process, if the carbon is captured and stored, then we can reduce the carbon footprint, and this will be termed as blue hydrogen. Currently, around 10 to 20% of hydrogen available is produced via this method called blue hydrogen. Then the most sustainable or renewable way of producing hydrogen is termed as green hydrogen. So green hydrogen is basically hydrogen produced by electrolysis of water using renewable sources of energy for the electrolysis. If the power for electrolysis is generated through nuclear, then it is called pink hydrogen. Another way that recently researchers have discovered several resources of hydrogen underneath the earth. So these hydrogen reserves are termed as white hydrogen. So the research indicates that white hydrogen is also renewable and is a sustainable source of procuring hydrogen. If produced from nuclear or renewable energy sources, hydrogen can enable reduction of 100% well-to-wake greenhouse gas emissions. Coming to hydrogen storage options, one of the most common ways in which hydrogen is stored and transported is either by compressed in the form of a compressed gas or liquefied gas. So compressed gas of hydrogen is stored at around 200 to 700 bar, can even go up to 1000 bar, which is 100 megapascal at ambient temperature. And another way is such as a liquefied gas at cryogenic temperatures, where if the hydrogen gas is cooled to minus 253 degrees centigrade at 1 bar atmosphere, it will be converted into a liquid. So the need to go for either such high compression or low temperature cryogenic liquid is because of the very low volumetric energy density of hydrogen. The energy content of hydrogen per kg is very high. It's higher than any other fuel, but because of the very low density of either gas or the hydrogen liquid, the amount of energy present in 1 liter of hydrogen is very less. So this necessitates either very high compression or liquefaction to have viable amount of energy coming from 1 liter of hydrogen. Another upcoming way in which hydrogen to be stored are either metal hydrides or organic hydrides. So metal hydrides is basically hydrogen is adsorbed onto the surface of solid metals through a heat reaction, and organic hydrides is basically hydrogen stored into unsaturated hydrocarbons through chemical reactions. There is promising research going on in regards to organic hydrides, specifically liquid organic hydrides. Major advantage of using either metal hydrides or organic hydrides is safety. Major challenge with hydrogen is the flammability of hydrogen. So hydrogen can leak very easily, and the leaked hydrogen can catch fire very easily. So to reduce these risk factors, if hydrogen can be stored and transported either in metal hydrides or organic hydrides, the leakage and fire hazard of hydrogen will be substantially reduced. So coming to hydrogen energy production, we can use hydrogen through fuel cells. So in fuel cells, we get highest efficiency of converting hydrogen into energy. And currently it is about 50 to 60%. But if we are able to recover the waste heat coming out of this fuel cell process, the efficiency could go even higher. Similarly, combustion engines can also be used. Here, the efficiency will be around 40 to 50%. So another advantage of hydrogen is blending. So even if we go for 50% mixture of heavy fuel oil with hydrogen, studies show that the carbon dioxide emissions could be reduced by around 43% per ton per kilo. So this means even if we are not able to go for 100% hydrogen on marine ships, blending of hydrogen with other conventional fuels or LNG can reduce the carbon footprint of a ship and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That being said, there's a lot of opportunity for hydrogen as fuel. We are seeing a huge drive from governments, policymakers, as well as from within the marine industry itself to use hydrogen as fuel or carry hydrogen as a cargo. As early applications, we are seeing tugboats such as Hydro Tug series and crew transfer vessels such as Hydrocat series, which are already in service. Similarly, Lloyd's Register itself have several projects which range from passenger ferries, cruise ships, bulk carriers, and large luxury yachts, which use either liquid hydrogen or compressed hydrogen as fuel in either fuel cells or a gas combustion engine to produce energy. There's a lot of joint development projects, joint industry projects, and academic research projects, technology demonstration projects that come up for short distance to medium distance shipping. And if these are successful, I'm sure that there is a lot of scope for hydrogen to be used as a marine fuel and as a cargo for long distance shipping also. Another advantage with hydrogen, even if hydrogen is not the only alternative fuel to be used in marine, there's still a lot of need for transporting hydrogen across the globe to facilitate deep decarbonization of other sectors, such as power, transport, buildings, industries, household applications, etc. Out of all these, shipping sits in the middle of them, and we would need to be carrying hydrogen as an energy carrier across the globe to facilitate this deep decarbonization. So I can safely say that there is a lot of future for hydrogen and a lot of opportunity for hydrogen to be used. With this, I come to the end of my presentation. What I would like everyone to take away from this presentation is there is a lot of opportunity for hydrogen, both as a fuel and as an energy carrier. So I would urge everyone to take up interest in alternative fuels such as hydrogen, ammonia, because that I think is the future of the shipping. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And we have to thank Padmini. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. I'd like to move on to actually a small rewarding session at the moment. We have to have a continuation of the Sagar Ratna Awards that we had yesterday. We had some of our esteemed dignitaries present in the conference room today. So first of all, to give away the awards on the stage, I would like to call upon Captain Perit Mishra, Principal of Manet. Can you please come on stage? Captain Perit Mishra, Principal Manet, please come on stage. Professor Shrikant Gunjal, Vice President Manet and Corporate Outreach for MIT ADT University. I'll also like to call upon Captain Shaukat Mukherjee and Captain Vipin Talwar. Ladies and gentlemen, giving away the set of awards, we have our dignitaries on stage. Please give them a huge round of applause. As I call upon the first award winner, this is in the category of Manet's Best Recruiting Agency. So if I think I have all Captain Parrot, Professor Shrikant Gunjal. Are you here? Okay. So Professor Shrikant Gunjal, if you're here and if you're listening, please join us on stage. All right. Giving away for the category of Manit's Best Recruiting Agency. I do have to say the award winner is Captain Chinna Ruparaju, General Manager, International Maritime Training Center. Please welcome on stage Captain Chinna Ruparaju. Thank you, gentlemen. While we request Captain Perit Mishra and also Captain Bipin Talwar to remain on stage, I'd like us to join on stage Chief Engineer Rajiv Kashikar, HOD Placements, and Chief Engineer Advit Londe, HOD Marine, to please join us on stage for the next set of awards. This is in the category of CSR Leadership. Thank you for joining us. Professor Shrikant Gunjal, please join us on stage. Please join us. Thank you. To give away this next set of awards, we have our dignitaries on stage. The award winner is Captain Anshul Rajavanshi, MD Synergy Maritime Recruitment Services Private Limited. Captain Anshul Rajavanshi, please come up on stage. This is the category of CSR Leadership. Yes, huge round of applause deserving. We thank our Chief Engineer Rajiv Kashikar for joining us. We also thank the Chief Engineer Advit Londe for joining us on stage. Thank you, sir. For the next category of awards, I'd like to call upon the stage Professor Sunil Chole, HOD Admissions, to join us on stage, please, to give away this next category of awards. This is for the category of Manit's Prime Media Partner. And the award winner is Captain Kamal Chadda, Managing Director at Marix Media Private Limited. Captain Kamal Chadda, please join us on stage, sir. Thank you. Let's keep that applause low, rolling, ladies and gentlemen. So you would like to share a few words with us?
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a request for Shaukat. Next time you do an event in a place like this, make sure we are all dressed in flowery shirts. These, when I was on the flight, I was the only odd one out dressed like this. And everyone in such a holiday mood. But yeah, Shaukat, you keep that in mind. Yeah.
Missed today's morning, so that's why.
Okay. Yes. And also, I'm very, very thankful to the organizers and to Manet for having thought me eligible for such an award. And I must say that the last award I got was when I was in school, and that was for a very important thing. Most of you will not have won that award. That was for the most mischievous child in the school. So this is a great, क्या बोलते हैं, coming up in life for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all the gentlemen who has joined us on stage. I now would like to delve into our panel discussion.
We need the chairs, 4 chairs.
So, but before we go there, I have just got an update that we would like to share with you a video from Manet. Ladies and gentlemen, your attentions to the screen. We have a special presentation from Manet.
I am Cadet Harmandeep Kaur. And I am Cadet Yashish Srivastava. And I am Cadet Preeti Jain. And we are going to follow seas and fair winds with Williamson Ship Management.
Bonjour, myself Cadet Sridhar Soni, and I'll be commencing my maritime career with BW Maritime Group.
I am Cadet Payal Kumari, a future sailor going to sail with Seaspan Management.
Shalom, I am Cadet Yadav Yash, and I am honored to be a part of XT Ship Management.
Hello everyone, I'm Cadet Dipesh Abrol, and I will be going to navigate the challenges with DM Eco Shipping.
Hello everyone, I'm Cadet Himanshu Marne. I will be starting my journey as a seafarer with MOL tankers.
Good day to all. I am Cadet Ishika, braving the waves, chasing my dreams with Bergson Worldwide.
Namaskaram. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Cadet Hussain Kachwala. I'm setting sail for adventure with Synergy Group. I'm Cadet Anak Prakashan, and I have been selected to navigate the seas of opportunity with MOL Tankship Management.
I'm Cadet Tulip Nazareth, and I'm ready to conquer the seas with BW Maritime. I'm Cadet Simran Inamdar. I'm placed in Works Line. I am Cadet Tulsi Divakar, placed in Musk Line. I am Cadet Durga Sharma, placed in Musk Line. Let's follow the line of Musk.
I'm Cadet Omkar Jadhav, and I'll be braving the wave and chasing my dreams with Chevron Shipping.
Mastering the waves with skill. I'm Cadet Vivekanand Mankari, setting my sail proudly with Williamson Ship Management.
I'm Cadet Pratham Patki.
And I'm Cadet Edwin Santis.
And we are ready to witness the horizon with XT Ship Management.
I am Cadet Sahil Jadhav, and I will sail across the oceans with BW Maritime, also known as Ferguson Worldwide.
Thank you.
Yes, that surely deserves a round of applause. Well, now it's time for our panel discussion on CXO impact, innovation, and trend mapping. Okay, so yes, that's an update that we have got. So we have David Birbatkar who will be joining us at the post-lunch session, which is why we've pushed the panel discussion a little ahead right now. So as I was saying, the entire discussion is going to revolve around the CXO impact, innovation, and trend mapping, key trends which will define the future of maritime. Before I call upon stage our moderator, there is a little video that we would like to share with you. And this is a video titled Mapping a Maritime Just Transition for Seafarers. This insightful video sheds light on the challenges and opportunities facing seafarers in the ever-evolving maritime landscape. Can we have the transition video, please?
Mapping a Maritime Just Transition for Seafarers. Over 90% of world trade is carried by sea. While supplying the world with food, fuel, medicines, and goods, the global shipping industry accounts for 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. For shipping to reach net zero CO2 emissions by 2050, it must shift away from fossil fuels and transition towards low and zero carbon fuels, technologies, and ships. This fourth propulsion revolution will require over $1 trillion in investments. While we can build a zero carbon fueled ship in 3 years, it takes over 10 years to train a seafarer to achieve the competency to operate it. The world's nearly 2 million seafarers will need additional skills and training to handle these new fuels and mitigate any health and safety risks for seafarers, ships, communities, and the environment. The Maritime Just Transition Task Force was formed to ensure that shipping's response to the climate emergency puts seafarers and communities at the heart of the solution. According to the ILO, a just transition means greening the economy in a way that is as fair and inclusive as possible, creating decent work opportunities, and leaving no one behind. The task force secretariat commissioned a report from DND to provide insight into seafarer training and skills needed to support the decarbonized shipping industry. The report showed that a lack of clarity about viability and uptake of alternative fuel options is making it difficult to plan effectively for the transition of the maritime workforce and to attract investment towards skills compatible with the industry's decarbonized future. The report models 3 emission reduction scenarios and estimates the number of seafarers requiring additional training to handle alternative fuels up to 2050. Under all 3 scenarios, there is an immediate need to start putting the training infrastructure in place. In response, the Maritime Just Transition Task Force is launching a forward-looking 10-point action plan, setting out recommendations to unlock the skills needed to support decarbonization goals. This includes strengthening global training standards and ensuring a health and safety-first approach. To find out more, visit the ICS, ITF and UN Global Compact websites to read the full DNV report and the task force position paper.
Well, that was a complete session from Manet. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause there. There's a lot of work and training that has gone back behind the scenes for the video. Now, please join me in welcoming. I'm sorry, that was the video from the Mapping Maritime. I'm really sorry for that. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Captain Rajesh Tandon, the CEO of FSM, who will lead us through this engaging discussion. Captain Tandon, please join us on stage. And I will hand it over to you because you are going to call the set of panelists. Yeah.
Is there a reduction in time or something?
No, we just.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would suggest that you guys remain awake because I'm the one standing between you and your lunch. So let's make it go quickly. Taking a cue from this particular video that you just saw, some of you may recall that in the Global Ship Manning and Training Summit organized by Marex ATPI, held in September 2023, the subjects deliberated on the subject of just transition in one of the entire sessions. Senior representatives from ICS, ITF, IMEC, amongst others, shared their views and highlighted the efforts underway. A summary report of the panel discussion on just transition, which I had the privilege of moderating, was prepared and circulated by Marex. Where's Kamal? Thank you, Kamal. And I believe that serves as a good starting point for the panel discussion today. The report discussed the transformative changes in the shipping industry driven by automation, digitization, artificial intelligence, and green technologies. And I think we've heard enough of all this in the last 2 days. It was also stated that it is estimated that approximately 800,000 seafarers globally need to be new skills to be adapt to these changes by mid-2030. This 800,000 figure is, getting stuck in our brains now. The report emphasized India's potential to become a significant player and the evolving shipping landscape aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The opportunity could enhance employment, drive technology, innovation, attract foreign investments, and establish India as a reliable maritime nation. We've just seen the DG's ambitious roadmap as well, seeing us through the next 25 years. The report presents key questions for seafarers representatives, ship owners and ship managers and regulators, addressing issues such as adoption of new technologies, reskilling initiatives, health, psychological well-being, safety, compliance, and environmentally sustainability. To be honest and frank, I am confused what the future fuel is going to be. We've heard so many options. This could be an option, that could be an option. So the question is that if you don't know which way you're headed, or you're making 3 or 4 pronged attack, the people who are at the end of the whole chain are the seafarers. How many skills are you going to train them on? Are you putting more pressure on them? And I think we need to look at those points in this particular presentation. Historically, we have seen that decisions relating to change in curriculum, training standards, etc., have been taken without sufficient stakeholder consultation. And I'll qualify that. When I say without sufficient stakeholder consultation, I don't mean that they are not represented in the IMO. But the people represented in the IMO are one representative from each country, some from Global Med, from Nautical Institute. Is that sufficient stakeholder? The key stakeholder is the seafarer. And is the consultation taking with them, with the larger masses? This time around, it appears that the various interests have come together and are working in a collaborative manner to navigate the seafarer skill in a structured approach. Collaboration and action amongst the various parties are emphasized to establish industry-wide standards, as is the importance of incorporating maritime awareness, education at school level, highlighting diverse job opportunities in the sector, and reshaping public perception. Open questions explore the potential for dialogue between industry stakeholders and academia in seafarer supply nations, collective contributions to reshaping public perception, and innovative approach to attract and retain talent in the industry amongst an evolving skill requirements and advanced technologies. At this stage, may I request the esteemed panelists to please join me on the stage. You guys are all there, so you know to read your names and get there. Captain Jaykumar, Mohan Nayak, Manoj Gandhi, Kunal Katyal, Vineet Gupta, and Girish Fadnis. This galaxy of industry stalwarts brings over 150 years of collective seagoing experience. To take matters interesting in this panel discussion and to get a diverse view, I will take the liberty to assign each of you a role to play in this to give you diverse perspectives. Captain Jaykumar, no surprises for you. You're going to play the regulator's role. Ship owners' perspectives, I would invite Captain Mohan Nayak and Manoj Gandhi to give the ship owners' perspective. Kunal Katyal and Vineet will request your ship manager's perspective. And Girish, you have the enviable role of wearing the seafarer's hat, having worked on both sides of this, on board and ashore. So I would request you to wear down the seafarer's hat and come up with the
Test.
Okay, I'm getting a threatening message from him to pass on a message to you that they are getting threatening calls from the reception that if you don't check out, they are threatening to throw your baggages out. So if you've not checked out, please go and check out. Was that good enough, Shukran? Okay, thanks. The way we'll do it is what we've seen in the panel discussions. I would request each of you to give about 5 minutes of time on the subject that have been assigned to you. And then we will go into the question answer session. So in no particular order, may I first ask the ship owners to speak because they are the ones who are driving the ships. So Manoj, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I look at the full house and I thank everyone to be here. Okay, now as far as the ship owner's perspective is concerned, it is inevitable that AI is there to come into the maritime industry. So we should use it to bring efficiencies, keeping in mind our main stakeholders, seafarers, welfare, and their well-being on board is maintained. For that to happen, what is important is that, seafarers' participation is very important. And that can be done by using them from the very starting when this process starts, by having them join the process so that their viewpoints are taken and implemented from the initial stages. This will ensure that we have their buy-in in this process, because we have to know, we have to make it known to them that this is going to complement their proficiencies that they have, and it's going to make their life on board ships a better. So that's one part of it. Second is, what we require is we have to build in on their competencies, and for that, investment will have to be done by everyone. Seafarers has to invest their time. We have to invest in the resources. The maritime industry and the academy has to join in and provide the competencies necessary for this. So with that only it can happen. So that's the process that's going to be taken. Here again, we have to know that, it's not a single person or single company's initiative that can help. It's going to be an industry initiative. Industry, by what I mean is, it's not only the ship owner, the ship managers, it is the manufacturers of this new technology. It's the government, the international bodies. They all are going to come together, and then only we can move to this new era, which is going to change the way cargo is transported in an environment which is going to bring us to zero carbon level. And it's a win-win situation for all. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. You made an interesting point about the investments, and I've made a note of that. We'll come back when we come around on the questions. And the questions may not necessarily be for you, it could be for the others. Mohan, can we hear from you, please?
Thanks, Rajesh. Thank you, Shaukat, for inviting me on this panel discussion. So far, it has been a very fantastic seminar, conference, whatever you like to call it. And my subject, as per Captain Rajesh, is how are we dealing with the ship owning company? Presently, we have about 170 odd ships, which consists of oil tankers of all types. We have LNG carriers and we have bulk carriers. And we have about 80 new buildings on order, which will start coming from 2025 up till 2027. So it's a big challenge, a huge task to man these ships with properly qualified seafarers who are trained for the future. We have so many gaps in the training that we have identified. And as Captain Manoj has already pointed out, that we have to see that these gaps are filled up from the grassroots level. So we start off by recruiting from various reputed maritime training institutes. We identify where are the gaps, what we need for upskilling the future seafarer skills. And then we advise the training institutes, look, we want to focus on these areas. These areas need more focus. For example, AI, decarbonization, etc. And then we see that, monitor them closely so that the seafarers who come out after 2 years or 1 year or whenever we recruit them, they are meeting the company standards, apart from what is the basic STCW or basic norms of DG shipping. Now coming to specifics, we have SIRE 2 threatening us from last 1.5 years. And suddenly now we see that it is going to come very soon in force. And we have new skills to be learned from them. One example I can give you. We have our LNG carriers, which have double azipod system, and one type of LNG carriers which work only in the Arctic. Arc 7 they are, and some of them have got 3 azipods. Azipods are like propellers, but they can turn like a rudder also. And these require specialized skills, and seafarers on board, for example, they require specialized skills navigating in ice-bound areas. And these need to be properly trained, these seafarers. We have only one training institute in India, which is Anglo-Eastern, which is training them for ice polar navigation. There is a huge gap in this training, which we identified. Earlier, we should train them from Petersburg, St. Petersburg in Russia at Makarov Training Institute, but now it's not possible because of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. This is one area. The second area is simulation. The SIRE 2 requires a few ideas on simulation. For example, if I need to post a senior or a junior officer on such type of LNG carrier, he will need to be trained on a simulator which is exactly a replica of the ship that he's going to serve on. Are we having such simulators in India? I'm sorry to say no. We have examined many, I don't want to name all the simulator companies. There are just a handful of them who manufacture simulators. We have a big problem in making such kind of simulation available, which will meet the SIRE 2 requirements. The third thing about SIRE 2, which is also coming into focus now, is how to deal the human factor in how to deal while you are having the oil major inspection. And that becomes a challenge because there are going to be lots of gray areas still, which we need to monitor and see that how we can manage. We have also other things like when the seafarer newly joins the ship, how is he going to familiarize himself with the new techniques? Is he getting enough of handshake on the board? Or is he just reading some manuals and going on board? So it requires a lot of focus in training part of it so that he is trained to go on the ship. Everywhere we cannot just keep giving parallel voyages. There are for seniors, it's fine. The next thing is the engines. The engines which we are going to have in the new deliveries, it was of course ME engines. Now everything is ME, but it was MEGI engines which were there, which were coming in. And now we are going to have MEGA engines, which are the low pressure engines. And nobody still now has got a we has a blueprint of such engines who can train our engineers on that. And in fact, we are in talks with various simulation companies where we'll have to give them the specification of this engine and they will develop such courses for us. And this is in short what I would like to tell you, that there are lots of gaps which we need where the future seafarer can be trained for this. And of course, we have the decarbonization. Everybody has talked about green fuels, so I'm not going to talk much about it because we are sure that things will shape up and we'll be able to train our seafarers in the new technology on green fuels. That's all as my opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan. I think that was a very detailed thing. I think you answered all the questions yourself, but I'll have to think of new ones to ask you now. So may I request Vineet, please?
Okay, fine. I'll just
first give us an overview of what you think about the future, what's happening, and then we'll come to the questions after that, please. Thank you.
The technologies will keep coming all the time, and the latest talked about technologies we are talking about is AI and machine learning. They are technologies, but are we affected by them? No. We are going to use them to make our future generations work more efficiently. So that's technology we're talking about. So that is not in our control. We will use them as it develops. Our latest challenges we are all talking about for last couple of days is the fuel. What kind of fuel are we going to use? Because the threat which is looming is right now is decarbonization, digitalization, and how do we cut the carbon? And as you see, it is a continuously changing technology or the what we choose. We are using LNG as a fuel, which we were talking so much about LNG fuel some time back, and today we don't want to talk about it. It's already on the way out. We are still delivering new ships. Can you believe it? And we're talking about it as a some fuel which is on the way out. So what are we doing? We are training people in running the ships with the LNG fuel, which are not going to be the future fuel at all. You see, so what is the future fuel is going to be most likely talked about with a little bit of a risk is a toxic ammonia or a highly flammable hydrogen, or maybe something more will come up like electric batteries will be stored in some form, or the wind energy. So a lot of things are there, and our seafarers will have to adapt to use them. But end of the day, we have to understand that technology will have to help us in developing those new equipments who will run the main engine with the new fuel. The threat will have to be handled when we are using hydrogen or ammonia. There are threats. So we have to learn to handle those threats. And that is where our seafarer will have to be trained to handle those threats. They will not have to worry about how will it run the engine. Engine will run with the fuel. That's not a problem. And that is the basic knowledge every seafarer already coming up with. They will learn in the school level when they start doing engineering or at the entry level. They will learn about it. That's not a threat. Threat is training people about how to handle this risk part, which will happen with the people who are already in the industry. So that is what is going to be the challenge, in my opinion. And that challenge will have to be handled by us, the ship managers who handle ships, people, and the people ashore who are managing ships. All will have to be together, learn, trained to handle that risk. That's what I think is the key question at the moment.
Thank you, Vineet. I think you've touched upon it, the very important. You have to read, learn, and manage. That is as managers, that's your expertise. And being amongst the leading ship managers today, that should be easy peasy for you completely.
Not so easy.
Okay.
But we will make it easy by making it in a professional manner. We will.
I think that instills a lot of confidence in the youngsters there because they're listening very intently. Kunal, can I come to you now?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me on this panel. So I'll take it on from where Mr. Gupta left. So we've been asked to wear the ship manager's hat, and I'll just like to give a few perspectives as a ship manager. What are our challenges today? First and foremost, we don't know on what fuel we are supposed to train our crew. It starts from there. And secondly, every owner who comes to us, the first question they ask us is, do you have crew ready to take over ships with the new fuels? Now, how many crew do we train for the new fuels? We don't know, because we don't know when is ammonia going to kick in, when is methanol going to kick in, how long is LNG going to remain in the system. So it's kind of confusing the whole ecosystem. And that is the first setback that we get. To follow it up, when we further start speaking to the seafarers, they are doubly confused than us. And I empathize with them, because if we as ship managers who are at the helm of, so do we believe, at the helm of driving this industry, if we do not have ample clarity, then who has it? And thirdly, when we approach our regulatory bodies, whether it's flags or administration, everyone is interpreting these rules very differently across the globe. We've got flags, without naming any flag here, where when you are taking over a LNG dual fuel dry vessel, the flag is accepting crew to spend 30 days in the shipyard with one LNG bunker viewing, and he gets the flag COP for advanced dual fuel vessel. However, the local administration of that particular country does not accept this mechanism. They would like to see 30 days of sea service. So, I mean, as I said, that the regulatory bodies, along with which are the flag, the local administration, everyone is interpreting these rules very differently. That makes our life even more difficult, because that even kills our planning further, because we don't know now which route to take. Because we cannot start training a crew for every single flag or every single type of vessel where he's going to go on, So these are the few challenges which are fuel related, of course. Now, if I can just add on a little further, we've got, every time a crew walks into the office, irrespective, a master or a messman or anybody, they are confused. When you sit down over a lunch with them, they are super confused. They don't know which all trainings are coming their way. Is it technically, are the trainings technical in way of knowing how to handle particular fuels? Are they expected to become psychologists? Because now RightShip and others want your crew to be trained on mental well-being and they should be able to pick up soft signals of any kind of issues like these. Thirdly, we tell them that half of things are going to be AI integrated, so they don't know anything further than AI stands for artificial intelligence. So, I mean, we've got people who are running the ships and we need to get them ready. Now, to get them ready, the only way we believe is that we have to we can't do it all together at a global scale because it requires too many stakeholders, but forming small groups and kind of starting to have some kind of small disruptions so that we can move some blocks of crew together to start becoming relatable to the challenges that are coming their way. So that's my view on the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kunal. And I think you have given an easy transition to Girish now, because everybody has spoken about the seafarers has to be trained, seafarers have to be told, seafarers do not know. So over to you, Girish. Should be easy now.
Thanks, Rajesh. Thank you for the whole panel. You all made my life very easy. So basically, when we talk about transition and when we talk about the crew on board, of course, we're going to face challenges, and that is exactly what is happening today, and most of the companies are facing. But the point is, when we look at the hierarchy, the owner, regulators, then the ship managers, and the last person is the crew on board. They're the bottom line people who are the most important people. Like you said in your opening statement, are they well represented? They are not, actually not. We have various bodies who are one representation from them, and rules are made. So the question comes finally is, how do we tackle this and what are we doing? See, when a ship manager gets a particular owner to do some training and have you done all this, he's not going to say no. He's going to say, I've got this checklist and everything is checked, and I've done a 2 days training program. I've got a 3-day training program prior. Is it effective? It is just to satisfy the ship owner that, yes, we have done this. As far as the rating is, the crew is concerned with this officer, how was the training program? Excellent. We learned a lot. Ask him 2 days later, he doesn't remember anything. So we have to find, and today I was pleasantly surprised when I saw Marine Pal's presentation. We have to think out of the box for the ratings. We have to move out of this 2 days training and 3 days training and what are you going to teach them? We've taken years to set up our systems and to understand how to handle them. But if you can get something like that, each company or each organization where you have at least 10 type of vessels, different kind of fuels to go in. So if you can get a tablet, everything is Android, everything is on the mobile, and they're all well versed with using the mobiles now. And then you start ticking and you get those points. Then you ask ship specific. See, today, when we talk about the new, we've got a lot of training institutions here today. We can approach the newer lot, the new cadets, and bring them up to time with the new systems that are coming. But what about the guys who have been there? They have been going through a certain system all through their life. And now by just giving them a 1 week's course, we expect them to be transformed, perfect seafarers. How is it possible? It's not possible. So we, I think, need to think out of the box. We need to start looking as to how do we effectively train them now? How do we effectively help them to perform on board? Well, that's where it ends. It ends at them. The buck ends on the people on board. And make it easier for them to face the challenges in the new era that we are entering. And we have to address this sooner or later. That's my view from the crewing point of view.
Thank you, Girish. I think now my favorite panelist over here, because he's going to be the one having to take the responsibility of making the world move smoothly at sea. Let's hear your perspective before I come up with the questions here. Thank you, Jay.
Right. Thanks, Captain Rajesh.
At the outset, thanks to Shaukat and his team for inviting me to share my views here. Now, technological changes keep happening. As far as the regulator's perspective is, what we do, if anything that touches the main component of expenses for the ship owner, be it manning expense, be it the fuel expense, be it the maintenance expense, then we look at that closely. Now, if you look at it, what we have done as far as the Indian shipping was concerned, we know that technological changes are happening. We looked at the Indian profile of ships, and we saw that it was pretty old ships. If it is 30-year-old ships, that means we are talking of 30-year-old technology. So we needed to encourage them to move over to newer ships. It's not an overnight job. So first we started discussing. Then when we spoke to the owners, we realized that in India, sometimes it is easier to run an older ship because they were able to manage the systems. So we started tightening out those systems so that a level playing field starts happening. And then we came out with the executive order that said certain age norms is what is we would be looking forward to. Of course, this is going to be we would keep tweaking it. And hopefully we will come down to a stage where we will encourage our ship owners to go into the latest technology. That means we have to give incentives. Hopefully we will see that happening. Already there is a provision in the Income Tax Act which gives you deductions for research and development. But Indian shipping, or shall we say the managers and the others, have not yet utilized those provisions. There is up to 200% deduction you can claim for any research and development activity that is being done. That is as far as the ships are concerned. With regard to the seafarer, the more difficult aspect of the seafarer is to build up the levels of competence available ashore to impart the training for it. Now, we keep talking of artificial intelligence. It's not something new. It's been there from 1956. Essentially, collating of data that is there. As more datafication is happening, more meaningful outputs are coming. So what we did, and this one I'm being specific to the nautical discipline, is we realize that new technologies are there. We need to build up our, expertise to be able to impart this education. So when we were revamping the extra master syllabus, you will find whatever technology we are talking today, it is part of the syllabus. Writing the syllabus was very easy, but ensuring that, let's take cybersecurity. Someone has to be able to teach cybersecurity. So how do we go about doing that? We put that in the syllabus. Then we told that we would be asking questions on certain of the new technology. And I must commend the two organizations, Synergistic Solution, Captain Ajay Achyutan and CMMI. They got in the resource person. So since it was not under the DG approved pattern, anyone could be providing the input. They brought in the expertise and they had to source the expertise from outside the industry because these are technologies that are not yet in our industry. So now what is happening? Hopefully, it's now 5 years we have been running the program. We have people who have some knowledge of what is going to come. And as the international body starts defining what needs to be done, our people will be able to contribute in bringing those aspects into the system. So that is how I look at how the regulatory process goes. And it is not as if it will be overnight change of system. It will be something that the ship owner will adopt. Because if I am telling that today hydrogen is the system and tomorrow it is LNG, the owner is confused, the seafarer is confused. It is a technology like autonomous ship is something that will happen. And you will find that regulations towards that are being deliberated. We are coming up with the code for that, the mass code. So something like that, but it will take time and it will not be something that the seafarer who joins today is going to have to reposition and change for tomorrow. So these are my views on that.
Thank you, Captain Jayakumar. Just one more question. Can I ask you to just take a step back? You've worked with the government maritime administration, and you've obviously represented India at the IMO and other place where rules are deliberated and made. If you were to take a step back, while we are making the new rules, STCW is under revision. What needs to be done differently, and how do you see that process taking place differently this time? Because clearly, as I mentioned, we are, rules are made and then we start writing functions and model courses and everything. That's a reactive approach kind of a thing. As a proactive measure, what should be done differently in rule making to make the job easier and safer on board the ships?
It's a very good question, but I'll tell you my view on this. India, so far, we have been reactive. Ideally, we should be setting the goals. Unfortunately, what happens when anything new is coming up, we call industry participation. And industry participation means meaningful participation. So what we find, the first meeting we have, the top people will come. They are interested in seeing what happens. After the first meeting, the next meeting, the second one will come. They are not really very clued in, or they are not very interested in what is going to happen. The third meeting, you will find that the person there is not really interested, he lands up. And then what happens, the regulations are left to that occasional interaction. Maybe I've spoken to Captain Tandon and he has given me a perspective. So that may come in. If at that particular instant, whoever is in that system is taking it. Ideally, what we need, if we want to set the agenda internationally, the organizations, the INSAs, the FOSMA, the MASA, the CMMI, the IME, they need to go through the rule-making process that is happening, the international regulations that are happening in IMO. There must be papers circulated, and this will not happen gratis. It takes a lot of effort for each person. What we are expecting is from the administration, we would want one of these organizations to give us the inputs. These organizations will ask someone from within their system, please put in a two paper. He has his own work to do. And at best, if there is a lot of pressure from the administration, cut, copy, paste, something is put and given to the administration. That doesn't change you don't set the agenda. So what my view would be, not only STCW, in any change that we are talking of, we need to have a dedicated team, probably funded from the system or mechanism of funding. It's not that there is a shortage of money. They need to then circulate to the industry like it happens in other countries. See the feedback and then give it to the administration. This is the view of the industry with regard to a certain aspect. And then we go about implementing. That's my view.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for pointing out the participation and interest of the industry. I'll make observations because I have been part of this industry, I think 30 years ashore. And I remember the kind of momentum and excitement we had when STCW 95 was being done. There was midnight oil being burned voluntarily by the people, etc. When it came to 2010, the interest had, fatigued out, if you like. And then this time round, we haven't even submitted anything for a change of regulation, let alone anything else. I believe now the date is in November. The point I'm trying to get is that unless there is a structured body, a think tank, done under the aegis of the Director General of Shipping, and the Director General of Shipping has mentioned today that they want to be the market leaders and the rule makers rather than rule followers. So do you think such a body will survive from your experience? Because we do a lot of things with a lot of, CMMI is here, IMEI is here, Global Met is here, POSMA is here, MASA is here. So all the bodies that you mentioned are represented here. But is it a workable solution to have a think tank officially designated with subject matter expertise? Is it possible, first of all, within the structure and working ethos of the DG Shipping? And I'll ask this question to Harish also a little later.
Yeah, I think DG Shipping always welcomes inputs from everyone. So be it in a structured format or an unstructured format. The problem is that each one of us, be it in the private sector, be it in the public sector or government, each of us is busy in our own day-to-day work. So meaningful interactions that come is fleeting. Ideally, what we tried the think tank approach. Some years back, there was a think tank that was actually constituted, notified. We would call them over for discussions. What we found that at the end of it, I'm sure each one of them has given very meaningful inputs. But what is important is the output from that. Has any meaningful output come about? Yes, you could have 10 people in the think tank, but each one of them are very important components of the system. They can't devote 100% time to this particular venture. They have got their own organizations to run. So what I would say is topic-wise think tank may be what would be important. Now today, if it is autonomous shipping, I think a topic-wise autonomous shipping think tank, looking at the different components, be it the engineering component, be it the seafarer component, be it the employability component, how we will, when it happens 10, 20 years down the line, how we will capitalize on being the first mover for it. And there is tremendous opportunity. Every situation comes up with opportunities.
Thank you. Girish, now I come to the question to you. During all the presentations or the submissions by the eminent panelists over here, I heard the word seafarer training, seafarer training, seafarer training at least 25 times, if not more. Now, fantastic. The commitment is there, but the current ships also have to run with the existing knowledge and technologies. How are we going to pack, and what do you think as a seafarer, in light of the evolving roles due to automation, what specific initiatives or programs can seafarers representatives, and I'm sure Tushar is listening, champion to reskill and upskill the workforce, ensuring seafarers remain relevant and secure in their current roles?
See, like we were mentioning earlier, we are all talking about training. Now we have to get down to specifics now. The training institutes or each company which has their own training programs, we need to help our seafarers to generate some knowledge base courses which would help them when they go back on board. That is why there is a gap here. That's what I'm saying. What we have right now is companies carrying out training because it is a requirement of the day. When we talk about SAT, now in the bulk trade, right ship has been there for a long time, but now they're clamping down. We are getting charterers who are refusing vessels because you don't have a right ship inspection done. Correct. So when it comes to right ship, it's not only about a PSC type or a post-state control type. There is well-being of the people, and there are a whole lot of requirements for that. So I go back as to how do we fill up that gap? I mean, that gap is very important. How do we help the seafarer? And like I mentioned earlier, some kind of an module that we should have, which would become ship specific. Because right now we got training specific. Sabko training karana hai, sabko tick box, we need to do that. It has to be ship specific something, which would help that lot going on a particular type of vessel to, when they click that, they get exactly what their requirements for them to know on that particular type of vessel. It can't be a particular ship specific, but at least the type specific. So it becomes more easier to address issues when they go on board. This is the way I can see forward.
Thanks, Girish. I think, Mohan, you mentioned that the specialized skills and real-time simulation on actual vessels as they exist on board today. So this brings me back to some presentation that was done yesterday. We talked of autonomous learning, wherein the learning programs using AI or VR or whatever are made by the makers themselves. And those modules should become an essential part of the quality of the upskilling of our service on that particular vessel, or that particular vessel. If there, see, unlike the airline industry, there are 5 or 6 or 8 prototypes. The only difference being a switch could be here or there or whatever. Technology is the big ones. The commercial levels is more and less the same. But in our industry, every ship is a different design. Her behavior, because of her scantlings, because of the hydrodynamic force, hydrostatic forces, is different. So you cannot generalize. But if a learner-specific autonomous module is created by the manufacturer or the shipyard or whatever, and they make it mandatory that anybody going on that ship should spend 1 week, 10 days, 15 days, whatever in their wisdom is required. Do you think that is the solution? Yeah, because you're spending a lot of money on this.
Thanks, Rajesh. Yes, that's the first rule. Owner has to invest and invest well, wisely. There is no other alternative to it. Now, regarding what you said about this new type of training, where I've seen demonstrations happening of various types of, projectors being, used on your eyes and things like that, which simulate bunkering operation of an LNG, for example. All that is fine, but we have to also satisfy the KPIs of TMSA or of RightShip. So unless the KPIs are satisfied of TMSA, and that can only happen when the oil majors or, for example, RightShip, they come and examine you and they certify that, well, this kind of training is accepted by us and your KPIs are met. If not, then it's a money wasted. So for example, if Chevron comes tomorrow to our office and says that, well, what have you done for this KPI? We say, well, we have trained them for 1 week on this projector or spectacle type of training, where the whole bunkering manifold and all is being shown. Are they convinced about it? So that is an important point where the oil majors, they should also be convinced whether this training is acceptable to them. Otherwise, the owner will be spending on something which is not of any use in the end. So simulation, 100%, when one which is actual simulation, that is accepted. Now, online simulation on cloud has become very common now because of after COVID, during COVID. That is, some things are very good in that, but that hands-on experience is not, really happening there. So that quality of training also differs from training institute to training institute. My friend Chinna is also operating a very good training institute, IMTC, where a lot of things is being done on cloud. So it all depends from training institute to training institute. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll put the same question to Manoj, but with a slightly different twist, because you also spoke about investments. Will this kind of a technology or this approach of autonomous learning on platforms which are made by the manufacturers or the shipbuilding yards, provided they pass muster of the TMSA? TMSA is not gospel truth. I mean, it can be tweaked. They can have other checks and balances. So if that is done, how feasible is it from a ship owner's perspective? We need to get ready. You're getting the next one.
Okay, we are already doing it.
Okay.
So now when we got our LNG fleet, so the modules that are there, when we built them, that was part of the shipbuilder owners agreement that they will provide us with the cloud-based simulator for training our staff. Because earlier, while in the shipyard, the first lot gets trained. That's not a problem. But for the future lot, they have provided us with a simulator. Now, these days, things have become easy. It's on the cloud. So that was part and parcel of the agreements that we have. So as an owner, that's an advantage because you build series. Like we built 15,000 K LNG vessels. Then we're building 10, 7,000 K. So same, you can standardize your shipyards, you can standardize the equipment, and it becomes easy. And we are following that.
Thanks. So the next question is what he mentioned about the TMSA. How will that acceptable to the Chevrons and the Mobiles of this world?
We have an advantage on containers.
Okay. I mean, would that or should that be acceptable after due scrutiny and verification?
I'm sure, oil majors have worked earlier with them, but I mean, they are quite, mature people and they do understand what the industry is doing, and they they handhold in it. It's a very go about situation. It happens.
Thank you. Vineet, now Kunal touched upon the subject as a ship manager. You've got various types of owners and collaboration. Do you think there is an opportunity for industry players here to come together and create a environment where such expensive investments in training, equipment, and capabilities will work? Obviously, we have to bear in mind that most of us are competitors and there's always the secrecy issue and everything. But if a simulation is being created and it is run under the banner not of individual companies, I know Anglo Eastern does a great job with their training and they keep an arm's length with the whole thing. But everybody, there is, when I speak to some of my people as CEO of FSMA, why don't you send them to Anglo Eastern? Saab, wo hamara aadmi ko poach kar lega. That I know it doesn't happen, but having said that, if it is done in a industry neutral ground, do you think that is an approach that would work to promote the employment and make it easy for our seafarers to go and drive the ships they are assigned to?
Thank you, Captain. I'll always say that we are not in competition. I mean, you have your owners, you have your seafarers, I have my owners, my seafarers. If we collaborate, what you're saying precisely is what is going to benefit all together. I don't think, as you mentioned, Captain Debu is here. He will confirm that we haven't denied anybody any training. It is for all because we haven't got any training which is specific to only my ship, which is our industry training, and it is provided to everybody at a cost. It is definitely easily available, and a priority is given to the Anglo-Eastern seafarers first, naturally. But it is available to all. It is not hidden or people are kept at arm's length. That's not the case, as far as I understand, as far as I know. I can just want to say one thing, as where the new technologies are coming, I think it is, I happened to meet one of my colleague from Hong Kong very recently, and he is the head of AETS, Anglo-Eastern Technical Services, which is supervising the new construction, new building. And of course, new building means new technologies are being embraced in the new constructions. Of course, owners decide that. And he's saying this is very naturally being done, that when the new technology is, ships are being built, how to train people are going hand in hand. Like left to decided to be decided later on. It is not. They're thinking this is a new thing which will be used by the seafarer, and how will we train them and how the safety aspect of that will be covered. It's all going hand in hand. Being prepared, dummy jigs are being prepared. We'll bring them to India, perhaps put them in our training centers or the academies, and when they will be available to all the industry. Now the question comes, the cost of that. How will that work? Of course, it will be in terms of fee, so it will be borne by everybody else, but it will be available to all. End of the day, I see if the Indian seafarer grow, every company, all of us grow automatically. So we should leave that thinking of competition. We should collaborate. And I want to say only one thing that I was talking to DG sir just a couple of hours back here in this room itself, and I think why should we not compare the number of berths with a particular operator and the number of berths, training berths with the same operator? Can we have a comparative study and see which operator is just simply milking India and other one is creating manpower in India? Why? If that will working in favor of all of us, there's a collaborative work. You know, we all create people together for the benefit of all. And when the more number of people are available from India, seafarers to work for the ship owners, more business will automatically come in. Some will go to you, some will come to me. Where is the competition? It's collaboration all along.
Yeah, thanks, Vineet. I think the organizations that are represented in this room, we don't have a problem. But for every one representative company represented here, there are 10 on the streets who are doing something which is very, very shameful. I'll go strong enough to use the word shameful. And that's the one that we need to perhaps carry. It is in every economy you have such people, maybe not at that ratio, but they are there. But we as committed, my view is that we as committed people of the industry and well-wishers of the industry and drivers of the industry need to work on this collaboration thing.
Because we make a difference. We will make a difference. Those small players will be wiped out. We will make a difference.
Thank you. One of the subjects that's not been touched upon just up to now is the importance of communication. And Kunal, I come to you with that one. In the era of remote monitoring and control, what strategies are ship management companies employing to ensure effective communication and collaboration between shipboard teams and shore-based managements to run ships safely?
Thanks, Captain Tandon. See, I mean, we as an industry, and I mean, that's my personal opinion, that we've not evolved the way the other corporates or other globally run industries have evolved with technology. We've always been a little conservative in our approach. However, now times are changing and we are becoming very aggressive per se as an industry when we adopt a technology. So now we are embracing technology much more faster than what we used to probably do 2 decades ago. Now, what we believe as a company is that we want to, when we want to get into the new era of communication with our seafarers, we want to first understand how do they look at things. So what we are trying to do is globally across different nationality, within our organization itself, across different nationalities, across different age groups, we are reaching out to people with a different model of communication, and we want to see what is their perspective, because we are talking about training the younger generation coming in, training everybody else. But as somebody very correctly pointed out, that there are existing seafarers, the existing ships have to run, and not everybody is very comfortable with the new technology. And we don't just want to roll out a tool which can jeopardize the safety or the mental well-being or the way a master is used to working or a chief engineer is used to working for the last 2 decades or 3 decades. So that is why we are running this poll, to understand what would be a best optimal approach to communicate with the new technology vis-a-vis the seafarers across age groups.
Thank you. Girish, there's a question come online, and this is it's ideal that you're here because I'll read the question. Earlier session, MASA chairman mentioned to train seafarers in specialized skills for vessel types. Will this not restrict seafarers' employment to specific types vessels only? They will not be given other ships. I think before I throw the floor open to you, I will give a view here. I think shipping is becoming specialized. It's no longer what it was that I was given a tanker. My first tanker was as a master. So I think those things don't happen anymore. But since the question is addressed to you, I'll go to you.
When we talk about specialized training, ship specific, it is going to be rooted towards a particular type of vessel, and it should not affect. That is what I'm saying. Now, with the new technology and new training methods that are available, we have to go ship specific. So when we are talking about training seafarers, any category, any rank, if he's moved to a different type of a vessel, there has to be ship specific training because basic knowledge is already there. Now we're talking about improving his skills for a particular type or a particular job, which would be a bit out on that particular vessel. And that is what I think you all were mentioning about getting the manufacturers or the owners to invest into some kind of a module, which would help. Like we are saying, we don't have just 6-7 types of aircrafts. We've got each vessel is a different category. So when we mentioned when we are talking about ship specific, this is what we're trying to say. There has to be a out of the box thinking. How do we address to face issues by SIRE or any of the other inspections or right ship? Because they are they're asking for records. See, more thing is paper tigers. Everybody's becoming a fantastic paper tiger around. All the boxes are ticked, but deficiencies are still coming in. Why is that? That's because of this kind of a situation we are into. So we have to head for shift specific or type specific, which will help them. And if they shift, and see, jobs are going to come and things will evolve over the time. And we have to evolve. That is the gap which we are also all facing. All of us have got a lot of questions which we need to see how to answer them and how to deal with them.
Thank you. And I think if I may add to that, with the recent revolution in virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented reality being used as training tools. And I was so impressed looking at Pushkal's demonstration of the VR thing that they do for our seafarers in our office. I think it will become much more easier. It's not that people will be denied a job, because there's more realism in the training and opportunities that are possible for you to move from one ship type to the other, as long as your core competencies are there. I think we have about 6 minutes according to my watch, although Shaukat says no. We'll throw the floor for questions to the floor. Anybody has any questions, can you please raise your hand and address it to, yes, Girish, Captain Munjal. ये भी एक trainer है.
Hello. Sir, I have a simple question. As we said that as a community, we are on a reactive basis. We don't even know what fuel we are going to be using. My question is, have we looked at the proactive industry, as an example, Toyota, GSC in automobiles, who's already choosing the hydrogen and ammonia? And as Mr. Vineet said, it's not so much about running the engines, but knowing the risk and then training our people. So my only question is, have we ever thought of collaborating with the proactive stakeholders like Toyota, GSC, who are already choosing their fuels ahead?
Anybody here?
I can maybe take it part of it. See, the thing is, somehow the industry, the shipping industry in India, the majority of them are on a contractual basis, and it is a sad thing to say. I have worked for an owner, which was an ownership company, and we were all employed for a permanent basis, which is not the usual case for the ship managers. Nobody wants to have a commitment, so there's no commitment from the other side as well. So training proactively people for the technology which is coming in could be kind of not a very well thought of plan. I'm not very sure, because the people may not be just available to go on the vessel or the type of ships when you are the people who are trained. And this is a very practical problem. All the ship managers and RPSL companies, people sitting in this room will always feel that, the person may not be able to join. So just proactively training how many people? How many people you can train for one ship or two ships or five ships? So I think we will have to target closer to the time. I don't think the technology will be so kind of out of the world that you will take months to train them. It will be a matter of maybe a couple of, maybe week or 10 days at the most to put them on the simulator and train them and send them on the ship. And as we say, the new technologies will be quite robust, in the sense you will not be able to make a mistake so easily, So that's what I'm saying. You should be able to understand the risk part of handling it. And as long as you have been trained to how to use the sequence of operation of the event, whatever you're doing, machinery operation, and then you will be safe. So that much is a part of the training, only a requirement. It's not that you train the whole thing from the scratch, and may not be. It's all built in the stock, the new technology itself. So I don't think it's very proactively it's required or it is desired, because the Toyota and all are designing cars. We're not designing, we're going to operate them. The people, seafarers are just going to operate them. And operators need little less, far less training than the designers. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. One last question from the audience, please, if there is any question there. Yes, Anshul.
So as far as training the seafarer is concerned, a lot needs to be done by all the stakeholders. I'll give you some examples. We were trying to train our seafarers for future, for taking over ships with dual fuel technology. Almost 40 to 50 guys were, they did their basic dual fuel certification, advanced dual fuel certification. But when it came that they have to sail for 1 month and do one operation on board, who's going to pay for this 1 month of parallel sailing? As a ship manager, we can't pay from our pocket. We have limitations. From the owner's point of view, till the time you get the ship, they will not pay for, who's going to pay for this training? So a lot needs to be done. Entire industry stakeholders have to come together to keep our seafarers trained for future technology. I'm just giving an example of dual fuel technology. There's so many things which are coming up. So it's a very vast subject, and answer is not going to be simple. It's going to be very complicated. Unless we all come together, it is very difficult to find a solution.
Thank you, Anshul. With your permission, I'd like to answer to that one. Anshul, I think it's a question of supply demand. If tomorrow there are 5,000 seafarers looking for one job, They will spend the money themselves to get themselves skilled up and go. If, however, there is a shortage of seafarers and the owner wants to drive his ship, he will spend the money. The point is that as a manager and the owner, that's a commercial relationship and a commercial contract. If you factor that in, and if the owner is a responsible owner, and I say responsible because if they want to preserve their asset, after all, it's their asset that is being prepared or being looked after. It's workable because these people are all doing it. And I don't think many of you here, or any of you here for that matter, really cut corners when it is required in terms of the experience, etc., which is demanded by the owner as per your contract, or as per the oil major contract, or as per the charter party.
Sir, nobody's going to take a shortcut for sure. But how many people we can skill? How many people we can train on our expenses? I'm talking about from the ship management point of view. We trained almost 40 to 50 guys and we had to stop them because we were waiting. And again, how long we can continue with these expenses?
Like I said, and Vineet said, it is this room that has to build up the asset for the national
Can I just
growth.
say one short thing? I think, Anshul, I think you're touching the right chord. We all are aware of it. What you're trying to say. See, I just give you an example. One company is training a guy by paying, putting him 1 month on the ship, on the simulator, and all kind of courses. Spend $5,000 on this guy, and he finishes ships, comes back. Another company gave him $6,000 and takes him away.
Absolutely.
You're trying to say that. I understand. So, so what Captain Tandon very nicely said. Yeah, this happens. This one company spent $5,000, other company pays him $5,000. So seafarer is getting benefit and goes to the next company.
And
This will not happen. This will not happen if we don't have a. If it will not happen, if we don't have a shortage of people. If we have sufficient number of people, nobody will poach from here there.
Yeah.
And then that's why I'm saying create movement, more and more people. We all have a responsibility to create more and more seafarers together, collaborate together, create people. There will be no competition. It will be only collaboration.
Thank you, guys. I think I'll call it a hard stop now and just summarize. I think I'll address the young cadets over here. I think there is a great opportunity ahead for you in terms that the preparedness of the industry is becoming more and more important and relevant. They are getting prepared for the future. We've heard there is a shortage and there's going to be a shortage, and the opportunity is therefore for you guys to remain ahead. Put in that effort now, remain relevant, remain ahead of the pack, you will do better. And the outlook for the industry is good because this industry is here to stay, even if it is autonomous vessels, and you guys will be relevant at least in your lifetime. Maybe the generation next, after you guys are here, they may have a problem, but I don't see that as a problem for you. Thank you very much for being a great audience. Panelists, thank you for being a great panel. I think it was meaningful. And Anshul and Vineet, you can put on your boxing gloves and we'll go down below and have another round there at lunchtime. Thank you.
Yes, continue. That was quite an engaging and insightful session. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to call upon Captain Shaukat Mukherjee and also to join us on stage, Captain Sankalp Shukla and Rob Gale. Can you please join us on stage as we felicitate the team panelists on stage here? Yes, Rob is here. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are breaking for lunch. While this photograph is being taken in progress, I'd like to inform that we will now break for lunch. Our lunch is being served at La Palmer, which is the restaurant that is closest to the reception. That is where the lunch is being served. We will regroup inside the conference hall at 3 p.m. Regroup inside conference hall at 3 p.m. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you after lunch. till December 2006, post which he joined JESCO. Besides shipping, he is also passionate about cricket and has played club cricket both in Mumbai and London. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and let us welcome Mr. David Birwadkar to share his thoughts with us.
Okay, this is just
The right arrow. Next.
right or okay. Respected dignitaries, young cadets, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Shaukat, for inviting me. As usual, a very, very well organized event. We are in the last part, so probably people will amble in for the end part. You have put me in the spot by giving me the most difficult task. Imagine we are in Goa. Imagine it's a beach resort. Imagine it is Saturday. Imagine it's the afternoon just after I have heavy lunch. And what is the topic? Renewable energy. So I'll try to do my best. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. I'll have to discuss it separately or a separate forum with him. So the topic is, of course, renewable energy. So yeah, that's with me only. Doesn't happen. Stop. Right side, right? Even the pointer stop refuses to work at this time. Yep. Yep. Okay, so with growing concerns over environmental degradation and climate changes, the shipping industry is under increasing pressure to reduce its environmental impact. This has led to a development of green port initiatives in the field of maritime transport and logistics, which are aimed to promote sustainable practices and reduce the environmental footprint of ports and their operations. One of the key strategies for achieving the goal is the use of renewable energy technologies. With each passing day, new achievements in technology and understanding brings us closer to unlocking the full potential of marine renewable energy. So the primary objectives for its deploying renewable energy in Indian maritime industry is to advance economic development, improve energy security, improve access to energy, and mitigate climate change. Sustainable development is possible by use of sustainable energy by ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for citizens. Strong government support and the increasing opportune economic situation have pushed India to be one of the one of the top leaders in the world's most attractive renewable energy markets. The government has designed policies, programs, and a liberal environment to attract foreign investments to ramp up the country in the renewable energy market at a rapid rate. So what are the various types of renewable energy possible to use in the maritime industry? Wind. Prior to the advent of the steam engine, sails monopolized the high seas, propelling relatively small ships with large crew complements. After all, wind is a readily available, if fluctuating, renewable energy source that is well understood. From traditional sails to sophisticated kites, soft sails, suction wings, wing sails, and rotor systems, wind technology is blossoming. Harnessing the gusts with grace wind power offers a slew of advantages for sea freight. New high-tech wind propulsion can be fitted to existing ships to cut fuel use, supplying between 10 to 90% of a ship's energy demand, depending on where in the ocean they are and which weather permits them to harness the wind. Weather routing can further optimize the voyage. As enticing as it sounds, wind power isn't all smooth sailing. For wind-assisted technology to become widespread, the cost must be in line with the fuel saving they provide. The next is, of course, bioenergy. Biofuels are currently the most relevant alternative for replacing or blending with fossil fuel in the transport sector. Yet, experience with their use and the scale of their applications in the shipping sector is still very, very nascent and minimal. Biofuels can be used in the sector in the forms of biodiesel, bioethanol, biomethane, straight vegetable oil, dimethyl ether, pyrolysis oil, hydrogenated vegetable oil, or maybe some other derivatives. Although biofuel share in the shipping sector's energy mix is small and will most likely remain so in the short to medium term future, over the long run, they will have a substantial role to play. Next is wave energy. Current wave power plants suggest that an entirely new design concept will be needed to be readily applicable in the shipping sector's energy needs. The small number of developers in this field are attempting to learn from biology and mimic the manner in which dolphins and pelagic fish use muscle energy in marine environments. The ambitious ES or cell car carrier, which means environmentally sound, by Wallenius Wilhelmsen Logistics, proposes use of a series of 12 underwater flaps with like fins, modeled on the tail movements of Irrawaddy dolphins to harness and convert wave energy in the ocean to create propulsion and generate electricity and hydraulic power for the ship systems. Another of the renewable energy is solar energy. Transiting beyond the use of photosynthesis, solar energy is making waves in maritime travel. Recent advances in solar cell and photovoltaic module technologies have led to solar power becoming a cost-effective fuel reduction option on pleasure boats, ferries, and tourist vessels. Marine solar panels will deck the roofs of some of the large ships such as car carriers, bulk carriers, passenger ships, etc. From cutting costs to harmful gas emissions, solar energy shines bright with benefits for the shipping sector, but a lot more needs to be done in research so to know where it will lead us. The final one which I'm going to speak about is, of course, probably the most popular one, which the government of India is encouraging. I think Padmini also spoke about it. So that's something which is getting more relevant apart from the biofuels. There are 4 production pathways for green hydrogen: electrolysis using renewable electricity, direct solar hydrogen production, biomass fermentation, and thermochemical biomass conversion. With almost no well-to-tank emissions, the use of green hydrogen could offer as much as a 96% reduction in GHG emissions compared to MGO and heavy fuel oil. In case hydrogen gas is released into the atmosphere, it has an indirect GHG impact, but the lower GHG emissions created when hydrogen replaces conventional fuels outweighs the adverse effects of hydrogen leaks. The storage of hydrogen is obviously an obstacle. Compressed gas storage is the most common option to store hydrogen, suffering, however, from low storage density, even when high storage pressures are used. Also, as storage pressure increases, so does the associated cost of the materials and the safety risk. High pressures also introduce challenges associated with reliable compression, handling, and additional piping. With multiple connections, the inherent regulatory restrictions also add to the cost. It is therefore difficult to see the storage solution being adopted soon on the bigger ships, but a lot of research is being done and technology evolution is rapid in this kind of option to be used on the ships. We hear the government encouraging the use of green hydrogen a lot in the various maritime sectors, including the ports. So I have a brief on that, so which I will share with you all. The government of India has come up with guidelines for undertaking pilot projects for using green hydrogen in the shipping sector. The guideline named Scheme Guidelines for Implementation of Pilot Projects for Use of Green Hydrogen in the Shipping Sector has been issued by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy on 1st of February, only recently in 2024, under the Nautical Green Hydrogen Mission. Two areas have been identified as thrust areas under the pilot projects. These are retrofitting of existing ships so as to enable to run on green hydrogen or its derivatives, and development of bunkering and refueling facilities in ports on international shipping lanes for fuels based on green hydrogen. The scheme can be or will be implemented soon, and probably 2025-26 is where the government is targeting. Shipping Ministry is to establish 3 Indian ports as hydrogen fuels. The Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways will develop 2 ports on India's east coast and 1 port on the west coast as hydrogen hubs. These are basically Paradip, the Deen Dayal port, and the VO Chidambaram port in Tamil Nadu. Setting up projects for energy generation from renewable energy sources, acquiring equipment to monitor environmental pollution, acquiring dust suppression systems, establishing garbage disposals for sewage treatment plant in ports and ships, and developing shore reception facilities for waste from the ships are some of the steps the government will take to make the ports carbon-free. The ministry also began to upgrade major ports with features such as shore-to-ship power, the use and promotion of electricity-powered port equipment, as well as storage and bunkering facilities for environmentally friendly fuels such as hydrogen and ammonia. Share of renewable energy in ports is to increase by 60%, as was mentioned by the shipping minister. My second last slide is going to talk about the challenges in marine energy development. Of course, there are several challenges we all know. We keep talking about it in several forums. So I'm not going to highlight a lot, but of course, these are technical and engineering challenges in harnessing ocean energy. High cost and economic viability of marine energy projects. I have a little bit of on each, but maybe it's probably not the right time to talk about it in details because it's just very, very nascent. We all know the problems. Environmental impacts and ecological considerations are some of that. Marine spatial planning and conflict with other ocean uses. That's also a very, very important point to consider when we talk about such developments or research. Durability and maintenance of marine energy infrastructure. That also is something which is a cause of, not a cause of concern, but which will have to be taken to mind when doing the research for using such renewable energy. And finally, outcoming regulatory and policy barriers. I mean, it's like streamlining of approval processes, providing sufficient incentives, and establishing clear standards and regulations are necessary steps towards overcoming barriers. Collaboration between governments, industry stakeholders, and environmental organizations is key because it can't be done independent of one another. The final slide is about the innovations and future trends in marine energy. So the advances in technology for efficient energy capture. The field of marine engineering is experiencing rapid technological advancements, innovations in energy capture devices such as improved wave and tidal turbines, which are enhancing their efficiency and performance. Additionally, the development of advanced control systems and grid integration technologies enable the smooth integration of marine energy into our existing energy infrastructure. The role of emerging technologies in enhancing marine energy. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning have the potential to revolutionize the marine energy sector. By leveraging AI algorithms and predictive modeling, we can optimize the performance and reliability of marine energy systems. These technologies enable us to better assess resource potential, predict energy yields, and improve on-site maintenance and operations. The next is, of course, integration of marine energy with other renewable sources. The potential of floating energy platforms. Predicting the future of marine energy markets. The marine energy sector is poised for substantial growth in the coming years. With increasing investments and advancements in technology, the cost effectiveness and commercial viability of marine energy are expected to improve. As the industry matures, marine energy markets will become more robust and play an increasingly significant role in our global energy transitions. And finally, developments in energy storage and grid integration. That's some of the future trend which are expecting. Today only I read a small WhatsApp message saying Mitsui, a licensee of MAN, have successfully tried out on the 50-centimeter bore, that is a large 2-stroke engine on one of the 4 cylinders, totally with hydrogen. They ran it up to 100% load, and there was a saving of almost 95% in the emissions. The 5% was only for the pilot fuel required for the initial combustion. So I think that's a good trend, a good start, something which shows us that this is all possible with extensive research and development and extensive tests and trials. And if MAN is endorses, which is one of the largest marine engine builder, then I think we are on the right track for such renewable energy and alternate source of what do you call operating our ships. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Birbarkar. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to call upon Captain Shaukat Mukherjee to please come up and felicitate Mr. David Birbarkar. Captain Shaukat, if you're here. Oh, I don't see Captain Shaukat. Okay, then I've been, oh, he's right here. Oh, yes, he's there. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say, I also like to give David, if I may call him David Birbarkar, a round of applause, because he was here. He was the only person waiting in the conference room when nobody else came, and he was the first person to India. He was, I agree. Yes, please. I would like to call upon stage Captain Naresh Kumar. Please come up on stage to also be with us as we felicitate Mr. Birbarkar. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on stage. We now draw towards the culmination of our event, and we are honored to present the highly anticipated session, the open house with seafarers with the industry. This session stands as a statement to our commitment to fostering direct dialogue and meaningful engagement between seafarers, industry associations, and maritime companies. In the open forum, the seafarers have the invaluable opportunity to pose their questions directly to the esteemed representatives from FSM, MASA, MUI, and other shipping companies and prominent maritime recruitment services. It is a platform where concerns are heard, insights are shared, and solutions are explored collaboratively. Without further ado, I'd like to invite, and as I call up your name, please give them a round of applause, Captain Tushar Pradhan, the General Secretary of the Maritime Union of India, Captain Anshul Rajvanshi. I think he has left. We also then call upon Captain Chinnar Ruparaju, General Manager of the International Maritime Training Center, Captain Sankalp Shukla, Chairman FOSMA. I don't think Captain Shukla is also with us here. Like to call upon Pushkal Kapoor as well. And Captain Girish Fadnis, Chairman MASA, to be with us. And it's over to Captain Shaukat Mukherjee. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll give.
Hello.
Give me. Test.
Test. Test.
1 minute.
Hello. Hello. काम क्यों नहीं करता यार जब
Test. Test.
पहले बोल दिया करो फिर.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So now this session was initially conceived due to a request from some seafarers who had asked an open house for seafarers to address seafarer questions. So as I speak now, this is going live, and we have posted this session on social media. It has gone also to all the institutes. I have posted, I've sent to the principals to send it to all the institutes, all the students. So if they have any questions, they can post online. I would also take this, since we have this as a session addressing seafarers' queries, I would like to call a few more people. If I can call up Arun Mehta, and also Shashank, if I can call up Shashank, and Mr. Deepak, Vinit Gupta. Yeah, so then what will happen is, then we have students who can pose questions. We have seafarers online who can pose questions. And anyway, this is going live. And so we have representation from the MUI. We have representation from MASA. the FOSMA, we have representation from the training institutes also, and we have also representations of people who are training producers, I mean, production of training aids. And so I will just start with a flurry of questions, and then once you talk, we'll get into the groove. And I will request the students also to come out with questions. This is an open house. An open house means you can ask questions to each other out there in the audience as well as
It's already on.
people on stage, right? And if there is any question which you have that anybody else can answer from the audience, I would like you to answer questions also. But before that, I have a small celebratory announcement to make. And I like making these celebratory announcements so that we are all in this industry. And we should give a thumping applause to someone here who has been elevated to the vice president's role in C-SPAN, Ms. Captain Manoj Gandhi. Ladies and gentlemen, big time designations come, big time more responsibilities. I'm sure he will be able to serve the seafarers better. And so congratulations, party baki hai, and we'll don't club it with FSM party. Okay, and I also one more celebratory is that let's welcome Shashank, who has taken up the new role as Managing Director of MTM. Shashank, welcome. And I'm sure, knowing you for so many years, and I'm sure that you will only do justice to this and much more, much beyond your role. So I will want to start with MUI. And so while I was sitting down, and by the way, we are the official media managers for Maritime Union of India. So we know what goes on behind the scenes also, the MUI, the kind of work that they do. One question which I always get from social media, from lots and thousands. There are 14,000. We have 14,000 people on MUI Twitter, right? On seafarers. So one thing I always get is one common question is, how do I become a member of MUI? So if you can address this, it's a very generalized question, but I think that people will be now watching live, so they can answer a lot of people's queries.
Good afternoon first. Thank you, Shaukat, for inviting. And a very good question. Most of the seafarers are not aware that we do have a site where they can go on it and then fill up that form. They can take the printout of the receipt within 10 minutes. We've made it a lot simpler. I will leave my the website details with Shaukat, so that can be put up on the MUI social site also. And there is always the conventional way which we have been doing in the past, and people still do come and drop in to our office in Mumbai at Ballard Estate. And we always have an interaction with each other, have a cup of tea and coffee for the good times. But otherwise, even if you call, we can always send you with your on the email or on WhatsApp. We can send you the social site, and they can just go and fill up the MUI membership form. It's quite simple. You just need your CDC number, and then you can fill up everything over there, all the details.
Okay, so thank you for that. I also want you to talk a little bit on, last month I came to Goa and I stayed at their maritime house. I don't know how many of you have stayed there. It's a very, very clean and hygienic maritime house, which is maintained by the MUI, which is close proximity to the beach in the heart of South Goa. Very well maintained for seafarers and their families. Sir, if you can just throw some light on that. The maintenance part was exemplary,
These houses, what Shaukat is mentioning, we call that as a convalescent homes. Basically, this is for the seafarers who have need some rest after having some illnesses. They can go and stay there with their families away from the hustle and bustle of the cities. So when we normally select or procure these convalescent homes, we make sure that they are little away from the main town. So you're having a very peaceful life out there. And we do have one in Goa, which just Shaukat said, it's very nice. There are 2 bungalows, which has 6 bedrooms total. So 3 bedrooms in each bungalow. Speak and span. And the cooks are there who can cook for you. You just have to tell them what you need and they can do that. And you can relax out there. These all convalescent homes, you can also do the online bookings. We have in Matheran, we have in Mahabaleshwar, we have in Raichur, we have in Masuri, we have in Lonavala. There are two of them because we have two trusts. One is called the MFSWT for the foreign owners, and one is called the MNOWF, which is for the Indian companies. So in Lonavala, there are two of them. So, and one in Gujarat also we have. So these are there. We are now looking to have procure one convalescent home down south. We are zeroing on it. And I think in say at least 3 months time, I should be able to have one over there. So the South Belt will have one. So we are doing it region wise. And you all have the facility to use that. We just charge you mere, I think, 700 rupees for a day, fully air conditioned. You have a common kitchen, you have a common dining room, and you have your separate bedrooms. So whoever are the members, please utilize that. And we need more than utilizing, I need a feedback. Because that helps me in improving these convalescent homes. Well, it's nice of you to write the good points. But even if they are trivial points, I want them to be jotted down so that I can get going on this. So it is like when we do a risk assessment, you miss out the initial risks and then you have one blunder happening. So we would like to target, keep all this spick and span. So people are happy, they should feel that it was the best place that they have gone. You don't have to spend money on.
Thank you very much. I want to come back to Chinna now, and because Captain Chinna Ruparaju is representing not only IMTC but also the industry training, and you do a lot of third-party training also. So if you can throw some light on, if I am a seafarer, if I want to, what are the courses that you're doing specifically for seafarer, which they can come to you directly?
Well, all our courses are for seafarers, so we almost don't do anything for other industries. And all courses are available for anybody who wants to enroll directly into our programs, although most of the nominations happen through other companies, through our partner companies. So for self-development, we have very good soft skills training programs. We have excellent hands-on training programs like electrical, hydraulics, automation, pneumatics, and so on and so on. So people can freely reach out to us. Now we are very readily accessible. We have QR codes circulating. Our website is very dynamic now. So, and of course, my number is circulating all over the place. So just reach out, please.
Okay, now I would like to, in continuation to what you said, like to ask Shashank. Shashank, you are as an industry body, as a company representative, and as a employer of seafarers. How do you know the training needs assessment? I'm not just talking about your own company, but as a whole, do you train seafarers for a larger purpose, or just not maybe to serve on your own vessel? Or do you do some kind of training which will help their as a career growth? How do you choose those trainings for seafarers?
Absolutely. So to answer your query, probably it is taken into three aspects. One is seafarer himself identifies a training which is required to upskill the knowledge or skills which are required, number one. Second is from ship we always get feedback, whether it is end of the contract performance evaluation or midterm appraisal, where if a superior, if a head of department identifies that there are some gaps exist, then those can it be filled with either shore-based training or e-learning or whatever. So that is a secondary thing. And third thing is, of course, when he comes ashore for certificate of competency or anything, apart from STCW training, if there are any other training which are required, that can be fulfilled. So basically, this all covers the training which are required for that particular rank or person, and that then it can be imparted.
Thank you very much. I'll come to Arun now. Arun, also being, on the helm of perhaps one of the largest shipping companies now, management companies with OSM Chrome merger. So I would like to ask you for your cadet recruitment project that you do and you want to train your cadets. How do you choose and how do you approve? Do you visit all institutes? Do you have a criteria of approving institutes? How do you approve or how do you set standards as to where to train your cadets from? Is there any guidelines that you follow as a company?
Yes, we do. And the way we look at cadets now,
if you can just
the way we look at cadets now is not as a cadet program. So we don't run what is called a cadet program anymore. What we run is what is called a future leaders program. So first of all, what we've done is we rebranded the entire program into future leaders. The way we are going to be going henceforth, this is post the merger, we've done a few things. The way we are going to be going in the future is that we are not going to take into account that we are selecting a cadet. We want to see and we are going to figure out that we will select people from the perspective of being able to engage them as chief engineers, masters, and superintendents in the office. So we want to develop a holistic program which goes all the way from taking somebody and building up the entire career progression path all the way till the top. Is it a challenge? Absolutely. Given the tendency or the nature of ship management, where ships keep rolling in and out, there's a huge churn which happens. But we've taken this upon as a responsibility, saying that we will do this and we will move in this direction. The second thing, which is a challenge, which is what we are trying to address in a collaborative manner with the cadets and the trainees, is how do we do what they need us to do for them not to be a part of this churn from the seafarer side, because we see a huge churn from the seafarer side. So this is not something where we look at it as a transactional thing where we say, okay, we train you, you work here, you don't want to work, that's fine, not a problem. But how do we come down to a point where we reduce this churn? What do they want? So we want them to be having a voice in this entire thing. So one of the things which we have instituted is that we will have a set standard of not just selecting cadets, but selecting partner institutes where we will select cadets from. And we will monitor that standard in a very, very structured and a very regular manner. If we see the trend, we are not going to look at events. We are going to look at the trends. If the trends showcase that that's not happening, then we will be forced to make a change from that particular partner institute. That belies two facts: is not just what is offered in the institute, but what is the product we get at the end after they pass out from that training institute. So the way we are looking at this whole thing now is in a completely different paradigm. We're not looking at it as a cadet program. So you'll see a whole lot of change which will keep coming in as we now move into structuring this, and we're going to do this globally. We are not looking at saying, okay, this is India, this is Philippines, this is this. We are a country which employs 77 nationalities. A company which employs 77 nationalities. So we are looking at this as pure competence. You have the competence, and you can work in a globalized industry. If you are from India, fantastic. If it is not workable, then we are also exploring external markets to be fair and honest to everybody, all the cadets who are looking over here. So this is not just a be all and an end all for us, that we are going to stick to this. We have a commitment. We've got one of the largest hubs which we are setting up here. But at that point of time, it is also a commitment which we need to see from the people who want to be a part of this industry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that explains a lot. Well, I will come to now Vinit Gupta, and I've been always wondering, for where seafarers training is concerned, and coming to you, and David is also there sitting down, and you, both of the companies have their own institutes, like Anglo-Eastern. So how do you do the integration? Do you take as many cadets that you can only place on your own ships? This is one question. Secondly are most of the Anglo-Eastern seafarers coming from your institute? That's the second question. And the third one is, what about the people that you cannot place on your, are they a surplus? Then what do you do with them?
Okay, thank you, Shaukat. We have an academy where we have a number of cadets which are approved by the DG. We cannot put any number as we wish. The facility, everything, recommendation, everything defines. We have to have approval, so we cannot just put any numbers. So we have those numbers, and then we actually needed. We were a growing company. We have been growing for quite many years, and we started this academy in 2009. That time we had one number of set of intake we had. We have come ahead of that. So we have always able to place all of them. Rather, we have been taking from outside other academies as well. Okay, so we have never been a situation unless temporarily at some point of time we have a little bit of access. It is not that we cannot place them. There could be a little bit of maybe a couple of months of waiting, which will happen. But it has never happened that we have not been able to place anybody on our ships. That is a commitment we give to boys and girls who join our academy, and we stick by it all the time. So there's no chance of not placing them on our ships. To the extent when somebody has not been able to do a justice while working on the ships as a cadet, we still allow them to complete the training. We will not kind of check them out halfway unless something which is kind of close to criminal activity, something like very, very undesirable. Otherwise, we will allow them. We will not kind of leave them halfway through in any case. I would request Captain Debu to add something if he
Yeah, I
wishes.
know, I was
Captain Debu is right here. He's been
Can I
at the helm.
have a microphone in the audience, please? Sorry there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so to add to Vineet, I think he's covered most of the points. But yes, the intake that we take for the cadets currently within the institute is mainly meant for going on board Anglo-Eastern ships. So at this moment, our capacity there fulfills our onboard requirement. And that's the plan at the moment. Maybe in future, we might expand further also, because the academy where we have set up in Karjat, we've got further land available for future development, which we can activate whenever our top management requires. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now I'll come to you, Pushkal. I was listening to one of your questions, or maybe a statement that you put the other day, or was it yesterday or today? You said, as a training service provider and somebody who makes manufacturers training aids probably, and in software and related equipment content, you sometimes don't know what to do as part. So I would like you to give an overview of what you do. Number one, what kind of output that you have and how it actually helps directly to the seafarer who's serving on board.
Sure. Firstly, thank you, sir. Very honored to be here. I mean, not surprised, a bit surprised to be here in front of everybody, but thank you for the opportunity. Just to add, so I'm a part of ISF Group, currently working as a general manager. I had about 10 years of sailing experience. My dad is there who started ISF Group about 20 years back. With ISF Group, we are mainly into value-added training and software development. We also do a lot of research work. Since I've joined about 2.5 years back, I'm trying to also do a lot of development in virtual and augmented reality space, along with some other learning management system tools. If I were to only specifically talk about AR and VR, since I'm heavily involved with that, we do understand that it's only an aid to learning. It's not a replacement. It's not supposed to be a replacement to any of the traditional learning methods. So the struggle and my comment yesterday was in relation to that. Sometimes when we develop certain modules and we go to the market to understand if this is the need of the hour, we don't get a clear understanding exactly if this can be used in a training. Sometimes a lot of these panel discussions were discussing about the faculty not being prepared to use this kind of technology to include in their courses. So that is the struggle that we are facing. But I personally had certain topics which are pain points for me. So I'm right now using my own experience and the experience of the team that we have at ISF to develop certain modules which can be actually blended with the day-to-day learning, either in training institutes or in value-added courses at a senior level. So that's mainly what I'm currently involved with.
Okay, now I want to throw it over to the audience. Students are there as well as online. Sagar, just check if online we are receiving any questions. Is there any questions we have? Yeah. Frank is, everybody knows Frank. Frank is part of the association, the Seafarers Association. Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and it is pleasure of FSM to be here in Goa. And it's nice to see a lot of shipping companies, maritime institutes, and organizations, unions are also the part of this. My question is regarding the trainees, the cadets. Companies must show respect for fresh shipping graduates and understand that throughout the time at the maritime institutes, candidates are taught to be disciplined and have dreams of pursuing their career on board one day. Companies must deal with freshers with human dignity. So when it comes to the placement in the shipping companies, we have hardly on ship maybe trainee OS, trainee Viper, trainee GS, engine cadet, or deck cadet. So this must be given the opportunities for freshers to join the ships. And my second question is, we are we have a lot of discussion about training and the seafarers should be. My second question is, there is a lot of discussion about training and the seafarers should cope up with new technology. But what about the welfare initiative from the companies to the seafarers? Thank you.
Okay, so let me rephrase your question and correct me if I've understood it properly. The first question is, you're talking about the freshers, intakes of fresher, and companies should be more, inviting towards welcoming freshers also, employing freshers. And the
Right.
second is about the
Welfare initiatives.
welfare initiatives of the company. And are you talking only for the ratings or?
No, for all,
we
for
will-
all.
Yeah, we will.
All.
Who wants to take this? Shashank?
Yeah. So first question. So when it comes to the berths for freshers, whether it is trainee OS or trainee Viper cadets, so when we propose, manning model to any ship owner, basically that consists of only few positions or few ranks for the freshers, whether it is cadet or trainee OS. So we cannot have too many trainee OS. Also, it is constrained sometime by budgets. So not necessary that we will be able to put trainee position on a vessel. So definitely our interest and our intention is to have more and more berths and slots available for trainees because they are going to be our future officers, future part of crew. Having said that, these are the constraining factors when it comes to a number of freshers we can put it on one vessel. And secondly, on the welfare part, of course, now most of the vessels are already having good internet. Star Crew is another one where it is coming up on many vessels. Then apart from that, there are gymming equipments, other facilities. So some of the welfare activities or equipments are becoming standard part of ship supplies, and we will surely. I think I am talking on behalf of my fellow colleagues that it's becoming very standard now, irrespective of which company or which vessel you are joining. Welfare things you will see on all the vessels. Maybe if anyone wants to add.
I think that the seafarers are very aware nowadays, and they are aware of their rights. So the shipping companies, even if they do not want, they will have to kind of stand up and provide them all the facilities, all the due which is due towards the seafarers will have to be provided. But it is not that. The established and good companies have also pressure from the higher management to provide a quality service to the seafarers. Okay, so that in case of any personal issues like illness or onboard injuries or sickness, they have to be taken care of. In case of emergencies, even the family members are provided with insurance. Many companies, it is nothing new anymore. Though it was started at some point time back by some companies, now it has become almost a norm, which is a welfare activity. And there have been cases I have seen where the companies have gone beyond their obligation of providing the support beyond the CBA, and they have gone ahead and provided support. So companies are taking care of their seafarers in a very compassionate manner. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions we can address? Any other questions? Nidhi, yes. We can have, just get hold of a microphone. Yes, it's there in the audience. Wait, hold on.
Good evening to all the seniors present on the dais and off the dais. I am Nidhi Pujari from Ganpat University and an MTM cadet. My question is, as Vineet sir already mentioned in his last session, training one seafarer and some others hiring. So what are the benefits someone will get as a long-term employee? Like we all know about the 3Ds, decarbonization, digitalization, and diversity. What about the 4th D, delight? We need some motivation to stay as a long-term employee. So what are the insights?
I think the first delight is that you are already sponsored. You know, when we started our cadetship, we used to finish and then we used to look forward for the 4th delight. But you already, you're joining the industry with the 4th delight, but 4D. But anyway, that's the new generation. Anybody from the audience wants to answer this? Or anybody from the stage who answer this?
So you just want to understand, okay, so one of the perspective is what we think what you need, what would create the delight. I think the question which should be there is that you need to engage more, saying that this is what we expect from this career. Okay, so we are hard selling this career because we have seen what this career can do for us, right? But that's a hard sell from our side. Okay, why do you want to be a part of this career? And if you start looking at that introspectively, you will figure out what will create the delight. And if there is something which any company can do, and if you're part of a good company, which you are going to be, I am sure they will take the steps which are necessary.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Any other
much.
questions? From the, yes, can I get a microphone down to the starboard side?
Why the woman? Why the woman?
Good evening, everyone. I am Sri Harshake from HIMT Chennai. My question is that automation is way good, better for faster cargo discharging or those things, and it is a huge profitable having automation. But my concern is that as compared to in India, regarding the cyber security, the awareness people are having is very less as compared to other countries. So having a huge automation in our country, whether it will not whether it will not be a threat. Like nowadays, we can see a huge increase in piracy or attacks between the countries or anything. So shipping being a huge economic, it adds a huge economic value to a country. So being a huge automated sector, whether it will not be a threat, like it can be easily accessed by any other countries or anything.
So let me paraphrase this and try to understand if I have understood your question. You say you're talking about automation, right?
Yeah, yes.
And you say that automation is everywhere now. So automation also means that there is more and more threat of cybersecurity.
Yeah,
yes. Because of increasing automation. Is that what your question is?
Yeah, yes.
Is it automation or is it basically the ships without people you're talking about?
Is it autonomous or is it automation?
No, automation. In the sense,
automation.
Yeah.
So I can take that. Once again, just to be sure I understood correctly, you're perceiving automation as a threat to the manual employees. in the country.
Not a manual employee. According to me, automation which includes sensors and it's basically it also has a data collection and those things. So internet.
Cybersecurity perspective.
Yeah, yes.
Right. So yes, it's a definite challenge. Normally, it's part of a larger debate with automation versus the human being debate, which normally there's no end. It just keeps going on and on. What we have to see, what are the gains to be had, and we have to see what are the pitfalls in the on the path to optimum levels of automation.
Okay, I will just give you a little answer. See that this problem is not for shipping only, it is for you, me, everywhere. When you are traveling with your phone and you are trying to use some public Wi-Fi and you use a transaction at the bank, you are under threat, right? You should be aware, you should be literate in that manner. So this kind of a literacy is coming in. You keep hearing about all those kind of scams which are going on right now. So ships are also there. I mean, I'm not sure every company must be doing it, but because I'm in a particular organization where we have these kind of training going on every day basis. So we have a basic norms, whatever happens, whatever can happen, trainings are happening, and then everybody is literated, kind of taught what not to do and repeat it again and again. Kind of this kind of literacy is coming for all the seafarers. Cybersecurity is a full course. People have to understand what the threats are present and what can be done. So when the data transfer happening from ship and shore, at that stage, something can go wrong. Yes, of course, but I think the systems are pretty tight. And as long as you don't venture into the undesired or blocked sites, which are blocked in any case from the company side itself. So chances are very less. It is not very common. You hear that some kind of a cyber attack happens on the ships things. Not very common, but it can happen. No doubt. It can always happen because they are always one step ahead of us, the people who will break these kind of defenses. Okay. Do I answer the question now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we'll take one last question. Yeah. Okay, since it's a lady, I'll give you the opportunity, one more question. But Gaurav, yes. Can I have one microphone to Gaurav Chabra, please? Oh, okay. So you had the microphone already. Sorry. So you can ask your question and then we'll come back to you.
Hello. Yeah. I'm Dipti from JM Bakshi. So from yesterday, we heard about all the initiatives and innovations which shipping industry is doing, and including this getting more women seafarers on board, etc. So my question is to all of you is what is it that ship management companies are expecting out of agents? How we can be the part of this changing environment, and we can make your life easy.
Can you just speak out a bit loudly so we can? I don't think I was doing something else, and I don't think the speakers understood the question.
My question is, what is it that you guys are expecting out of port agents, to
Okay. So let me, So since they are JM Bakshi, so what is it you all are expecting out of agents? Is that what?
Right.
Yeah, Vaseline.
Or related to crew handling.
So I think we have to get over the mindset of saying that this is agents versus principals, because in the current ecosystem and the way things will happen in the future, we have already come to a point where everybody has to be a partner. So what we are expecting from agents, so-called, is a partner, somebody who we can not only be tasking and asking, saying their expertise, but also be aware of the fact that, yes, it is an economic world, but it has to be a reasonable exchange. The amount of effort which goes into monitoring, managing agents, if that can be a self-imposed thing, you will find that it becomes a relationship of a higher value and higher trust. And I think that's probably in a very nutshell, the expectations.
Yes. Just to add to what Arun mentioned, a couple of practicalities just to answer your question. I think any manager can expect from agents, whether it is husbandry or other services, is one is quick and close communication, because we need live data, current information which is happening. Second is, as Arun mentioned, it's a commercial world. So we want minimum delays to the services which agency is providing, because vessels are running with a tight schedule. So we don't want to miss any ETAs or any load port schedule. Third thing is, the all the services which are lined up in a particular port, that needs to be, so basically agent needs to understand our requirements, what is required for that particular port or particular vessel, and needs to be kept ready so that there is minimal disruption to the vessel schedule.
Thank you.
One more thing will add up with both the captains who have said, Captain Arun and Captain Jagirdar, that the agent is a facilitator about the port, the ship's turnaround. So all the logistics is what you have to actually compile together, inform the master on board well in advance. The documentation has to be in order so that there are no delays. And you see, there is one concept which is always forgotten in this industry, that the master and chief engineer also has a requirement for work and rest hours. What happens is many a times the agent walks in a little later, the master has a long night in, there is a short stay in port also, he has to take some rest and he has to again move out and he has again long sailings. So, the has to be a lot of punctuality has to be there. So everything is delivered. Minimum communication should be done once the vessel berths in. Everything should be completed well in advance. And also the immigration customs. This is what basically the agents keep handling it, making sure these are done. The timings of the pilots are arranged so that there is quick turnaround. The more the vessel stays at sea, the more she earns. Thank you. I hope we have answered it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Am I right, both of you all?
Okay. So I think I have a hard stop now because I don't want to create, another FSM 5 will come 1 year later. But yeah. First of all, you have to ask me whether I'm going to allow your question or not. You're just going for the mic. Okay, allow.
Good evening, everyone. Sir, as sir said, when money is concerned, we face lots of difficulties in training seafarers from conventional fuels to modern fuels. And in that case, what stand we are going to take for the cadets who have been in the training in their colleges?
So what was the first few lines of this question?
We face lots of difficulties to train the seafarers from modern fuels to the from conventional fuels to modern fuels.
Fuel?
Yeah.
Conventional fuels to, you mean alternate modern fuels?
Yeah, alternate modern fuels. In that case, what stand we are going to take for the cadets who have been training in their institutes?
I think Captain Debu had mentioned in his panel discussion there are 3 stages. I think we've not reached that stage yet, but anybody wants to take that? He's regarding about modern fuels from transitional age-old fuels to modern fuels, that transition. So what training is being developed for the cadets for these?
So I got the statement, but what's the question?
Question is, he wants to know what is there any training to make them adjust to the new fuels when they pass out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's very nice of you to worry about what you will be doing. You're worried now. I'm very happy to see this, but I tell you, don't. It's like a lighter note. Actually, I'm saying whenever a person is passing out from an institute, I passed out from DMET. I did not know what I'm going to do on the ship. Trust me, nothing. 4 years in DMET, 89. I was on the ship. I did not know anything. We learned on the ship. So don't worry. You will be trained to do the job.
And by
you
the way,
will be trained.
Sir, when did you pass out from DMET?
1989.
So 1989 and this is 2024. वो अभी भी 70%, 80% वही fuel चल रहा है.
वही fuel चल रहा है. So don't worry. You will whatever your training, learning is the basics. Basics will always be there. They will never change. The fuels which are going to come in are the low flashpoint fuels because they are low flashpoint. So there will be special precautions. You know what a low flashpoint is. Yeah. So you will be taught. Don't worry. You will be prepared to work on the ship.
Okay, Gaurav, I forgot to come back to you. Let's give Gaurav a chance because he was in line. I'll come back to you after Gaurav.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Gaurav. I'm from Hilo Maritime Risk Management. My question is to the shipping companies representatives here. We have heard a lot about new technologies for training, AR, VR, XR, mixed reality, etc. My question is, are we thinking too early? Are we getting early into this game? And is it an aspiration to transform, or it's actually a requirement? Because even the manufacturers of these technology are not sure whether whatever they are creating will add value, and they will get support from shipping companies, training institutes, owners to develop these technologies. It may become a business nightmare for them. So that's my question. Where is the support coming from, and where is the money coming from for this? Thank you.
So I'll attempt to answer this. Okay. So just to put this into perspective, anytime there is transition, which this world is going through, shipping industry is going through, there is going to be, it is always going to be volatile. It is always going to be uncertain. Okay. Each stakeholder will have to put in a bit of an effort, and it is going to be an iterative process. It is absolutely impossible for anybody to look into a crystal ball and say, this will work and this won't work. This is exactly what is required. We're just talking about fuels. Look at the amount of transition in fuels which has started happening. LNG was considered to be a fuel of the future. Now it has become just a transition fuel. It's been now considered or talked about as just a transition fuel. So will investment in technology be required? Yes. Will that have to be supported by business? Yes. Will I have to get somebody to pay money? Absolutely. The point is, what is the value which can be delivered out of that? And if it is sustainable value, yes, there will be investment which will go through it. But it is going to be an iterative process. There will be a lot of things which we will not incorporate in the future. And it is certain things only which will pass the muster. And that's the cost of innovation.
Okay.
I can add to that.
I think we'll put a hard stop now. Okay, one last question, because I have to finish at 4:30. We have a vote of thanks. We can't go on any longer. It's been an engaging session, but we can put questions afterwards offline as well. Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Castro Sequeira, President Selling Chief Officer with Dr. Dilshit Management. And I'm Secretary for All Goa Cements Association. Yeah, so my question is that as I was on both the session from yesterday and today.
Can you please hold the mic away, slightly away?
Yeah, it's okay now?
Yeah.
Since we have gone through the present and the near future, the development in the maritime industry, well, I just want to go to the ground reality. Definitely some of the institute might be doing it, especially Anglo-Stone. They have some programs and all. The cadets who have been trained in the maritime academies, are they been taught basic personal safety of theirs while handling? What I understand is that as per their training, on the onboard training, they have to deal with and have to use the power tools and everything. But are they been taught properly that what PP needs to be taken care of? Are the previously the case studies have been discussed with them? What needs to be done? How it can be avoided? And what is the risk involved in that? And what extent it can go if they don't? I mean to say, just a simple example: while handling a power tool, somebody forgets he have his goggle on. He puts on the helmet.
Can you make your question in 2 lines so that they get to know exactly what they need to answer?
Yeah, is the ground reality of the safety for them on board? It has been taught in the academies.
See, before I you can there's a huge lot of work which is done for the seafarers in terms of training and safety management, and there are departments, there are companies are spending crores of money, and so Chinna.
Just to be clear, I'm trying to understand the question. Are you saying what kind of training are we giving for power tools?
Yes, on the power tools, how to handle them, and why I'm giving my own experience. It is not happening on board, although they are coming from good, reputed training.
Right. So
it is not happening on board.
I'll
Okay.
because we have shortage of time, I'll be brief about it. See, a lot of thought is given into making the training very similar to the conditions which are experienced on board. Obviously, we have no way to ensure the exact same type of manufacturer. There are hundreds of them available on board ships. So we try and keep the equipment as close as possible to the reality that should be expected on board, and the training is provided on that. Of course, it's the seafarers and the companies whether they have the opportunity to utilize, but that's a different discussion. The means are much.
Yeah, you wanted to say something or?
Very recently, we were given this project and we made a video film for specifically safety in handling power tools because of the recent accidents. So that has been distributed very recently also for Anglo-Eastern.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm not very happy, but glad and to say that this is all good things in life has to come to an end. And this is the official, I think, the end session of the FSM 2024. And I can't be thankful enough to all of you. I can't be grateful enough to all of you for seeing this through, seeing the success of the events over the years. And this is, as I say, official end. And it's a very emotional moment for me because it lasts months, about 8 to 10 months to conjure an event like this. So a round of applause to all of you. And before I give you the vote of thanks and before I mention all the people, all the partners' names and all, I would like to felicitate and call upon Captain Girish Punjal to felicitate our speakers on stage. Okay, so I will want to finish in the next 5 minutes and then we'll go off and we'll end with the photo ops with the cadets, with all the people. And this is the official vote of thanks. I can't, like I said, end this event without thanking all the partners. All of the partners are here. The platinum partners, the golden partners, the support partners, the silver partners, media partners, dinner networking partner. And while we have felicitated most of you, I would like to call upon certain people who we want to felicitate as a company who's been a part of this event and supported us. First of all, I call upon Ace Insurance, Naresh Kumar. And Naresh, please pass on our regards to your boss, Apurva also. And we are thankful to Naresh and Ace Insurance for supporting the event. Please. Okay, so also JM Bakshi, the CEO of JM Bakshi is there. Mulchandani, can you please come up, sir? I just want to felicitate you for supporting the event, by coming and joining us for the event as well. Big round of applause to JM Bakshi. And let me tell you, he's one of the movers of the industry, which keeps the industry moving. If agents stop working, then the vessels will not come into port and go out of it. Okay, so thank you. Would like to also thank our silver partners, Amit. Amit Chennai has always been supportive, and we have two people from here, Captain Gopal Srinivas and also Anand Tripathi. Can I call them both on stage? Please. Thank you, Amit. Well, I've been a rollicking journey with all the working for IMEC video, with rollicking journey for all the video, all the institutes that we visited. I want to also thank them for coming and joining us today. And I would like to call upon Rob, if you can join me on stage. I want to felicitate the institutes. And we have one by one, Captain Ashutosh Shapankar of TS Rahman. Do you have any cadets? They can come up as well with you. Yes. So big round of applause for Ashutosh Shapankar. TS Rahman is one of the approved institute by IMEC. Want to just felicitate them from behalf of TNC as well. Okay, since Rob is here on stage, I would like to also felicitate and call upon Meti, Mr. George and Mr. Vetri. If you can come up here. Meti is also one of approved IMEC institutes, and I would like to thank them for their support and coming and joining us for FSM 2024. And the last institute who has come, who's approved by IMEC, is HIMT. We have the principal and also the son of the founder, and Tirth and Anand, Anand Subramaniam. And with the cadet, please come, those people who are featured in the video. Please come. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for HIMT. A round of applause for Rob, also Rob Gale, who's had a tiring journey from UK. He's been with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I just think people the list is endless, of the people I need to thank. Is there anybody still here from Buoyancy? Is there anybody still here from Buoyancy, or I would have? Okay, so thank you, Buoyancy, for supporting the event and also coming and joining us. And since we have another institute here, and I would like to call upon the Ganpat team, Ganpat come, and you know, you're so synonymous with Ganpat. मैं तो आपको गणपत गणपत ही बुलाता हूँ आजकल. मैं तो आपका नाम ही भूल गया हूँ. मैं बोला Ganpat, come here on stage, please. Yes. So thank you for supporting the event. Okay, I would like to thank certain. Okay, so a big round of applause. He has a flight, and the winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award is leaving us, but will join us soon in Mumbai. Thank you, Captain Bipan Talwar, sir. Right. Apart from the names of the companies, I will have certain special people to thank: Captain Basin, Captain Rajesh Tandon, Captain Shiv Halbe, Captain Tushar Pradhan, and Dr. Mangesh Karad, FOSMA, MASA, MUI. I would also like to thank Frank Vegas. Frank, if you can come with your partner in JMOSE, and the association has helped out. Frank is my go-to partner, local partner. Whenever I have a challenge in Goa, I just call up Frank and he gets it done. In fact, he was the one who got us the extra 40 minutes with the Russian dancers yesterday. Otherwise, the cops were on our head. So I think he deserves a round of applause. Thank you, Frank. And like I said, we would like to thank the sound people who worked. A round of applause for the sound and the LED. Nothing happens without their help, without their assistance. And the technical part is the most important part. It can really take away the event from all of us. So thank you very much. Now I would like to thank our event partners in Goa, Dilis and Arvind. Big round of applause for Dilis, please. Dilis, we want a small presentation for you. And Dilis has been with us from last year, planning the event, meetings after meetings, and local support. Thank you so much, Dilis. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm not missing out anything, but yeah, I would like to call upon our Kunal. We bid farewell to all the people who's going to fly in the next 1.5 hours. Thank you. Thanks. Don't take off your hats till you reach Mumbai. Okay? Right. I want to thank my team, Naval Connection, and without them, we are nobody. It's a team effort. So I'd like to call upon team Shreya, Anjali, and Sagar. And with that, we would like to call upon the other three wonderful ladies who are from the Goa Siemens Association, helped and given to us to support the event by Frank. So I have their names here: Melissa, Melina, and Ramona. So now the problem is who's going to bring everybody's on stage. Who's going to? I'm kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, an official bow from me to the audience, to people who've joined online. This is from Naval Connection, Captain Shaukat Mukherjee. I bow to you for making this a successful event. And I would like to make a small statement here that like we said in the opening address that we are growing. One of the initiatives that we are just starting to launch is that we are launching an HR platform. It's not online, it's offline. We've started a company called, a brand company called HC Infinite, where we are placing people in the maritime industry, not seafarers, the shore-based people. So I'm not going to say that if you need a job, come to me, but we've already signed contracts with a lot of companies and are signing. Please empanel us. And we've already placed lots and lots of people in the pandemic, but without any charge. So like my wife was in HR for 22 years and she said, why are you doing this without charge? So now we'll officially charge, but you'll get the people that you want, through us. So we are there and we will come to you to sign contracts with you. If you want people from us for shore-based placements, anything, any shore-based placement, you can join us and you can come to us for this thing. So with that thought, and I would like to also my round of applause to lovely ladies of FSM who have joined us. And without you, the event would not have been so colorful. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us in the beaches. And let's all gather for a photo op now and we declare it officially closed. Anything else? Anything else that we missed out? No, right? I think so. Let's close FSM and gentlemen, let's come up and for photo ops, please.
It's thank you and goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to bid adieu. We'd also like to say a big shout out and thank you to Captain Shaukat Mukherjee. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, join us on stage for a photo session. And we'll say goodbye to you until we see you next time.